Got it, bitch.
Right. In 3, 2, 1. Yo, everyone, you're listening to Filmmaker Mike and the boys. Joining me for this episode is Sequester Jester.
What's up, guys?
Pinhead.
Benson.
And Kuya.
How you doing?
All righty. The Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6. Or, as it should be known as the show as, fucking Star Wars.
Space Wizards!
Holy shit.
Star Wars.
It's no secret.
Nothing but Star Wars.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, that's whatever you call it. It's still Star Wars, right? It's set in that universe.
And I will say, so I don't interrupt over and over again, I will be the last one to speak on this episode, but I will say, as a preamble, this is the most Space Wizards episode of Space Wizards I've ever seen, and I fucking love it. So let's go.
Wow. Yeah.
This is true Space Wizards, as most people know that I love true original Space Wizards, and here we go.
Right. So everyone knew that this episode, Chapter 6, is directed by Dave Filoni. So, of course, personally for me, I was expecting something good. But, of course, I should have expected something great. But I also don't want to just expect all these things to happen or these characters to show up and then be disappointed, right? So I'm just like, okay, they already hinted. I think it's really important to realize that when they, at least in the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, when they mention something in an episode and they're hinting at something, just to take it at face value. Like when what's his name? When Mando says, I gotta see a little friend, it left from last week. It left a lot of people speculating, are we really gonna see Grogu or are we not? But in this episode, we see Grogu, not just Grogu, but we actually see more than Grogu, because a lot of people were saying, oh, if we're gonna see, we might just see Grogu, but we're not gonna see Luke. Probably not gonna see Luke. But did we see Luke? Holy shit, dude. They topped what they gave us from the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian, from the rescue, when Luke rescued Mando and friends, by giving us, for lack of a better term, the Luke Skywalker that everyone wanted to see in The Last Jedi. Or perhaps even not in The Last Jedi. The Luke Skywalker that everyone wanted to see in the sequel trilogy, right? But then a lot of people are also saying that Filoni's going to reset the time, or he's gonna reboot the sequel. They're gonna erase. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna erase the sequel trilogy.
That is the most ludicrous thing I have heard so far after this episode.
It is. But then when you think about it also in the timeline, this is approximately 20 years before The Force Awakens.
Right.
A lot can happen in 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, a lot can happen in 10 years, even 5 years, but there's a lot of time in between. So anyway, we get Cobb Vanth back. We see Cobb Vanth right at the top of the show. He's dealing with some pikes. He tells them, hey, it looks like you're lost. If you're lost, I'll let you guys go, but don't ever come back here again. And they threaten him, and of course he shoots. We know we've seen Cobb Vanth before in action. He's no
pushover.
Exactly. So he knows what's up. He knows how to handle himself. He takes out 3 of the 4 pikes and he lets 1 pike go. And he tells the pike, drop that chest of spice. And the pike even says, this chest is worth more than your entire town. So it just shows you that, of course, the pikes are running spice, and their spice is really their biggest moneymaker, and they're running it through Tatooine and through other parts of the galaxy. And of course, whenever business gets interrupted, the businessmen don't like that. So he lets the other pike go, and then he looks at the chest, and he just basically tips it over and lets it blow away through the wind, as it were. And then not only do we get Cobb Vanth back, Immediately, of course, we see Mando jump out of hyperspace. He lands on a planet, and of course, he tracks R2, or R2's like sending out a signal, and he tracks R2 from that. And of course, even that R2 himself, a lot of people were really excited to see R2D2 back. Mando lands and he asks the droid, I'm looking for Skywalker. And so R2 leads him. And then we see, this is what I always like about Star Wars, seeing something new that we haven't seen before. We see a droid pick up this big rock, and it's not just any kind of droid, it's an ant droid. And we actually see a bunch of ant droids building the first Jedi Training Academy of Luke Skywalker. So they're building, and of course it makes sense. Ants know how to build. They build their own ant hills, and so why not make a droid? And you see them, they're building it rock or stone by stone, I should say. They're building that the first Jedi Training Academy. I want to say temple, but it's not necessarily a Jedi temple. So they're building that, and then of course Mando is asking R2, where is Skywalker? And then a few of the androids build a little bench for Mando to sit on and just to wait. R2 himself actually shuts down. So I thought it was like odd, like, why is he just shutting down? He's like, he doesn't want to answer Mando's questions or something. And then I watched it again, and it almost made me think, is R2 connected to the androids somehow? But then usually droids are their own thing.
I don't know.
I think he's like the foreman of the androids, right?
Right.
It seems like it, because he started chirping at one of the droids, and then the droids made the bench for Mando.
Made the bench, yeah, out of bamboo. But I guess it won't be bamboo in Star Wars. It's something else.
Oh, it's bamboo.
Well, there's also the other factor, which I like. Maybe they're controlled by the Force. Because there's a very real possibility that Luke's doing all this shit and training Grogu while controlling these little ant fucking
but that's not
androids.
the
Like and because those androids creep me the fuck out. I'll be completely honest. Like, yeah, they did. Like, because I'll admit I was wasted and I was like stoned. I was like sitting there and they're like, and you could even tell in the scene, not for nothing, as stoic and hardcore as he is, the Mando was creeped out too, because he's like, oh, I'm gonna sit there, right? Like, it's creepy.
Right. Well, he was looking for someone alive.
Machines controlling everything.
Right. And if we remember Mando's disdain of droids.
Exactly.
Like
so that makes it even more uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's
he's
like
looking for someone alive to talk to, and there's no one there. So he's
that's what I liked about that scene, because I felt his uncomfortability. Like, I felt uncomfortable with him. I was like,
right.
Oh, fuck, man. Like,
you had something to say,
Jester? Fucking creepy.
I didn't get, I watched it a couple times. I didn't really get that. So, I understand where that thought comes from, but I personally didn't see that. I liked the droids. I was surprised to see the next time we saw the school that they were like done building it, because in was it The Last Jedi, we saw the school burning? It looked a lot bigger.
So there's speculation that may not be the same exact school and the same exact planet. That may be a different location.
Right. That's possible, yeah.
Or it's like, it could be like, the beginning of the temple. It might be a smaller one, and they'll expand, it'll get bigger.
I was thinking that. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Right. Like, how long ago did Kylo Ren? Is it 12 years? Was it 12 years after the scenes with Mando? Is it 12 years?
It's like 12 or 15 years when he burns the temple. When he when Ben went to train.
So he was what, 5 years old when he was training with Luke when he started?
I think 5. So at this point, I think he's still he's probably only like a year old.
Yeah. Okay. So in 4 years, I'm in 4 years, I'm sure that the androids can build something bigger.
Right. And then of course. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Well, and that's
I just kind of laughed a little bit.
It's because, like you said, really we're into that point. Like like they should be hustling and bustling. Like R2 moves faster than them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them, so that was kind of, you know.
I
they
get
can
that
just-
fact, but that makes it even creepier because they're just a whole army of slow moving fucking grotesque ant fucking robots. There's like, like you can't trust
I
those.
take it that Pinhead doesn't like ants.
But I do like
I
what
have the
Pinhead.
same feeling toward ants that Mando does toward machines. So you're right.
I like what Pinhead
Okay,
said.
I got you.
What if Luke was controlling them or using the Force to?
But that's what I'm
have
trying
them
to say.
work?
I didn't mean that as a fucking off cut. Like there's a I'm not, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not like all you guys. I'm not the space wizard expert, but I know what I like. I like old space wizards, and I'd like to think in my even if it's my head canon, I'd like to think after the battle between the Emperor and fucking Darth Vader that he was powerful enough if he can train Grogu, who is supposed to be. We keep tiptoeing and hinting that he's on the level, especially after what we see, and we'll get down that as we get into this review, but as we see, he's on the level, and they keep hinting of the ghost of Yoda. He's on the level, or maybe even, dare I say, more powerful. If that's the case, if Luke was trained by Yoda, that means he could have the capabilities to use the Force to move those robots, to build his own image. Because let's not pretend that the Jedi Temple is not built in his own image. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that this is the Jedi Temple. He's building it in his own image. Then we can have, for the sake of argument, that he's able to control those robots to build this fucking temple in his own image while training Grogu. But we can get into that down the fucking review. That's just my head canon, but I'm sorry, you know.
No, you're good. That's what I'm saying. I like that. I like that perspective. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So we
so he's using Force powers that's not known in canon.
Yeah, but you didn't
until the next episode,
you
maybe.
didn't see-
A lot of stuff hasn't been known in canon, according to all you guys, especially Jester. And we're getting into now it's canon.
Right, and
that's what I'm saying, though.
But you didn't see any fanboys making an outrage like, "Oh, this is not supposed to be."
Big,
not in this episode.
Yeah, that's
of
not,
course
that's
not,
not
because
the
their logo's blown just the right way this time.
Right.
Well, I know one of the big ones is Yoda's lightsaber was actually supposed to be like burned in the comics. When he but you know, somehow Luke has it in this one, so Dave changed that one.
I'll explain it when we get to that part. There was an explanation on why Filoni did that. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so
and I'm interested to hear that. So
let me just make this clear. Dave Filoni can fucking change anything in the fucking canon. He has my complete respect and green light. So you know, want to know why? Because he was trained by George Lucas himself.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
If you want to see Boba titties, it's gonna be Boba titties. God damn it!
Oh man! All right. So
got it.
Another thing I want to mention about this episode, the music is there's so many music cues that are familiar and yet so beautiful, and it's used very properly. We didn't hear the Force theme until season 2 of the Mandalorian finale when Luke arrived, and we hear it here again. We even hear Yoda's theme. We heard a glimpse of Yoda's theme in the Ahsoka episode in season 2 when she's talking to Grogu about Yoda, but here it's just beautiful, and we get some beautiful shots of the planet, and then we see Grogu. Grogu's right there. He's meditating with Luke, with Master Luke, and then Grogu reaches out to the Force and he gets a frog. And usually I would have thought like he's gonna fucking munch on that thing because he's fucking starving like always, but he doesn't. He loses focus, and then Luke realizes that, and Luke shows him. Luke shows him what really is what he could be capable of with the Force, and he just doesn't get one frog. He gets all the fucking frogs in the from the water, and Grogu, of course, is amazed. And then, of course, as he's training him, there's so many. First of all, I wasn't thinking that we would see Luke Skywalker at least a whole lot, just because of what we saw from the CGI and what they tried to do with the season 2 finale. It's still, for me, ever since when I rewatched that, it still looks off. Something about it still looks off. But I love the sequence. I love the when we don't see his face, it's no problem. But here, as soon as we're seeing his face, like, it looks so much better. It is actually leaps and bounds better from the last time we saw.
They hired the guy that did the YouTube recreation.
Schmook.
Right. They did. They got him.
The guy, like, because remember, like, what people were complaining because it looked all weird, and then the guy Schmook or whatever, I'll put it on his YouTube, and he said, "Oh, let me deep fake it better." So Filoni and the guys fucking hired him to do the deep fake.
Right.
I honestly think the conversation came from there's a guys on YouTube called Corridor Crew, and they were discussing it, how they were discussing that final episode of season 2, and they mentioned Schmook in that one, and they said it's impressive how one guy can do way more with what was it? Oh my gosh, what's it called? Deep fakes than Lucasfilm can. And then, like, shortly after they did that episode and released it, they hired him. And I was like, I wonder if that had anything to do with it. That's how they got his name out there, Yeah,
I was telling Jester what they need to do now is they need to revisit that season 2 finale of Mando and have him fix that shot of Luke, where Luke is standing and he takes off his hood. They can easily fix that. Please, and by all means, please fix it, because and this is nothing new. With every video release that they did for Star Wars before Disney, Lucas always tinkered with a lot of scenes, adding some stuff, some CGI. So this is absolutely nothing new. Even with wasn't it the original Phantom Menace, we had Yoda as a puppet, and it looked terrible. It looked nothing like Empire and Jedi Yoda puppet. So by episode 2, Yoda was digital, of course, because Lucas is all about the digital, what they could do digitally. And Yoda, dueled Count Dooku, so he had to be leaping and jumping and doing all these things. But if you watch Phantom Menace now, on Disney Plus, they redid Yoda digitally. He's now a digital character in the entire film.
Lucas did that with the Blu-ray release.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. So that was with the Blu-ray release. Okay.
And then, honestly, I say go back and fix Leia and Rogue One for me too.
Yeah.
Like, just do it all, man. Like, just go back and fix them all.
That was the Tarkin was actually better in Rogue One.
Yeah, but he needs to be fixed, and he was not spot on.
And that was So that's why. I mean, you got the guy, you hired him. Let's actually use him and fix over those other things that So at least now it'll look much better when someone else down the road watches these films or these series for the first time.
Exactly.
Actually, a way better experience.
And that's another reason why I did kind of enjoy this episode, because it goes into what you all are talking about. Because with Luke, Mark Hamill, we're almost even closer to the uncanny valley, which, for those that don't know, like, where we're reaching the precipice between not being able to tell reality from virtual and AI. So this just, and with people, and it's a lot of people are like, it's with the smaller independents that are doing it, that are in tech right now, that are really trying to push it. And then the big companies will come in and they'll go, oh yeah, they'll take advantage. Yes, they'll pay them a high rate, but they'll take advantage and pretend like they did it. But we're really close, especially in these Luke scenes where it was far more cleaned up. We're closer to the uncanny valley than we've ever been in digital, whether it be games, movies, or TV. This is the closest we've come, and it's going to get even better and more creepy. That's why people are scared of deep fakes, because it's going to get better as 3 years down the line. I can only imagine what happens in 5.
Right. Yeah. So
I would argue don't clean up the Mandalorian shit or any. Wait, just like, like you guys just mentioned, it happened in the Blu-rays when the technology was a lot better. Let's wait a little bit before we clean it up to where we can really get a genuine. Because if we get down the line, we could actually have where the Mandalorian looks better than this episode of Book of Boba. That's how fast technology is progressing. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. So back to the episode. Luke tells Grogu, let's go for a walk. And I love that as they're walking, since Grogu's got little tiny feet, Luke is using the Force to kind of have him Force hop over so he could catch up to Luke as they're walking. So Luke is telling Grogu about Yoda, and that's when you hear Yoda's theme. And then Luke asks him, do you remember back home? Did you ever remember anyone like that speaking in riddles? And then it seems like Grogu can't remember. And so Luke tells him, let me help you remember. So he puts his hand on Grogu's head. And of course, we're treated to a flashback of Order fucking 66. Right away, we see 501st Legion clone troopers firing. We see a close-up of Grogu, and it looks like he's seeing, from his perspective, he's seeing 3 Jedi with their lightsabers drawn, fending off against the 501st Legion, aka Vader's fist, during the attack of Order 66. And the speculation was that the Jedi in the center with the long hair that's tied up, that is Sin Jalig, which actually is just a reverse for Nick Gillard, who is the stunt coordinator for the prequel trilogy. They made him into a Jedi character. But a lot of fans are arguing and saying, no, that's not him, because that character was killed by Anakin in the Hollow. With that,
in episode 3.
Yeah,
I remember.
So, but then again, going back to my original statement, if that was Sin Jalig, because Dave Filoni said so, Dave Filoni fucking said so. So I don't fucking care. Whatever. He knows what he's doing.
I mean,
or it could have been another Jedi with long hair.
Mike, don't the Jedi librarians like wear the same fucking outfit, like the light brown shit, like and all that stuff, like some of the Jedi groups, like they share like the same color outfit, right?
Sure, yeah, I guess.
Like like the librarians,
well,
the guardians,
like the red shirts or some shit, or like
something like that. Like because like the bodyguards of the temple or whatever, they have like a different set of uniforms, and then the Sentinels and.
And may I ask, is that their actual name, the Jedi librarians? Because if so,
I don't know.
Well, there was one.
It's official.
There
they are
the one librarian.
There was Madame Jocasta.
But that's a big ass library. I'm just saying, like there could be like another.
I'm not debating that with you. I just want to know if that's actual canon, like official term, like Klingon is for fucking like they're Jedi librarians.
Well, that was Madame Jocasta Nu in episode 2 when Obi-Wan is searching for his missing planet, Kamino. Yeah. And then she tells Master Obi-Wan, if a planet does not exist on our records, it does not exist. And I was like, fucking bitch. That's when Obi-Wan wanted to bitch slap a Jedi librarian.
She does sound like a librarian to me.
Yeah.
So it's official. I don't care. Dave Filoni, make it so. It's Jedi librarians. Thank you.
Yeah. So
I just wanted to ask, because if that was the case, that's fucking awesome. Like I love it. I love it.
That's the only. I'm sure there were probably more.
She is a bitch. I'm like, that's a bitch librarian. So
yeah, there were probably more Jedi librarians, but she must have been the head, because she's like the way she talked to Obi-Wan was like, if it does not exist in our records, it does not exist, bitch. Like,
like talking down to him. Like
she probably outranks Obi-Wan, right? At that time.
Oh yeah, she's an elder, so he had to respect her.
Exactly. That's why he fell back. He's like, okay, bitch.
Yeah. So, yeah, in that flashback, we see of course, it's not too long until those 3 Jedi are taken down by the 501st. And then, Jester, you mentioned one of the troopers is Commander Appo.
Appo, yeah, with he's the one in the front with the arrow on his head, facing down. It's like the Appa from Avatar. They was it Dave Filoni specifically named that one in I want to say the Umbara arc.
That's a good question.
I could be totally wrong. I know because Dave worked on it, and so did D. Bradley Baker. They both worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, so it just kind of made sense.
Right, but the audio book that I was first introduced to Commander Appo was around 2006, 2007. So it could have been already introduced before, and then yeah, because I'm pretty sure it was around 2006, 2007 when I listened to that audiobook. Darth Vader, Dark Lord Sith.
I googled it right now. So Appo first appeared in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where he was the one that shot the kid on the bridge.
So that was, yeah, and that kid that he shot, the Jedi Padawan, that was Jet Lucas, George Lucas' son.
Right. So okay, he was introduced, I guess, in that one, and then they made him. Let's see.
Oh, so yeah, he was already in the film canon, way before.
In film canon, but I'm trying to figure out when he got introduced in Clone Wars.
So while you're finding that,
okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the 3 Jedi are taken down, and then Grogu it's not revealed who saves Grogu, but like, so there's a missing piece. That was only one piece of the flashback. So I'm like, okay, we're bound to see more, right? So they're still saving some of that forced flashback from us. So when he basically wakes up, Luke says, "Welcome back." He tells Grogu, "The galaxy is a dangerous place. I will teach you to protect yourself." And then, of course, we go back to Mando. So Mando, of course, is off in the distance with the Jedi Temple. Luke is out further in the jungle, in the forest with Grogu as he's training him. R2 is now awake. Mysteriously, he's beeping now. R2's awake. And then Mando is laying down on the bench. And then you hear kind of like a snap or something. And then he draws his blaster. And then he's surprised to see Ahsoka. And I was also surprised to see Ahsoka. And I have to admit, Kuya was right. Kuya was saying, "Oh, what about Ahsoka?" So of course I'm like, "Oh, of course Filoni would put Ahsoka in it." But then
Kuya was right. Ooh.
What I instantly realized was that, holy shit, Ahsoka's on the same planet as Luke motherfucking Skywalker. So, and then of course it's not till later that they see each other. So Mando is surprised to see her, and then she says, "I'm an old friend of the family," which of course sent a lot of shivers down the fans' spines, because you're like, "Ooh, that's what you wanted to fucking hear." So she says, "That's why R2 brought you to me instead," because Mando is like, "I thought you weren't going to train Grogu," and then she clarifies that she's not. Master Luke is. And then she was basically clarifying with Mando that was Luke's decision to train Grogu. So she has no control over that. And then as they're walking, she tells him, "Your attachment to Grogu would be difficult to let go," because that's what she already told him when she first met them. And then he's telling her, like, he wants to see the kid. He wants to see how he's doing. So he offers he wants to basically give what the armor made for Grogu, a gift for the kid.
Mithril.
Huh?
Mithril.
Mando Mithril. So Ahsoka asked Mando, "Are you doing this for Grogu, or are you doing this for yourself?" So I'm like, holy shit, dude, all these fucking questions, like making Mando feel like getting him on a guilt trip or something, like trying to think about what you're doing here. So Mando explains, as a Mandalorian foundling, he should have it. It's his right. And then Ahsoka explains, well, he's a Jedi Padawan now. And then he says, either way, this armor will protect him. So Ahsoka says, if you are set on it, then allow me to deliver it. And then Mando pretty much says, like, well, he's right there. I came all this way. Like, he really wants to see the kid, of course. And in a way, Mando wants to see the kid just as much as we want them to see, just as much as we want to see both of them reunite. So, Jester, you had something on Commander Appo?
Yeah, so I was correct. The first and only time we really see him is in the Umbara arc next to Krell as everybody's getting cut down below.
Okay.
It says, I think it sounds like Dave's changing canon again, because I guess before he wore the arrow when he was a sergeant, but when he got promoted to commander after Rex went with Ahsoka, he got rid of that helmet. And so there's a bunch of mixed stuff, and then he apparently Jedi Shrin is the one that killed him in Order 66.
Okay.
As of right now, who knows? That might change.
Right.
That might change on Wednesday.
Right. Interesting. So. Yeah. So going back to Mando and Ahsoka, Mando just wants to give him the gift, and then of course she tells him, like, I will deliver this. I can deliver it to him. But she explains also to Mando, if Grogu sees you right now, you're going to make it, he misses you a great deal. If he sees you, it will only make things more difficult for him. And so Mando says, make sure he's protected. So he gives her the gift. And then we see Grogu on Luke's back, looking in the distance as the Naboo starfighter basically takes off. And then I think Grogu even reaches out with his hand, but he probably knows that Mando was there. He can feel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Luke even, we find out. So Luke is continuing Grogu's training. So he has Grogu jump. And then Grogu just a little tiny hop. And then Luke is like, that's all? That's it? Like, that's all you can do? And I'm like, well, he's a fucking tiny kid. Like, what do you want? And then, of course, Luke explains to him, jump, but as you do, feel the force, like, so he can. And then he says, don't try, do, which I really liked, because it's one of my favorite Star Wars quotes that Master Yoda said, try not, do or do not, there is no try. But they kind of shortened it here. And of course, we get more beautiful music. The one part that really got me is when we see a shot of Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, running with the backpack, and on his back, in the backpack, is Grogu, which is a direct callback to Luke's training in Empire Strikes Back on Dagobah with Yoda on his backpack, but now it's Grogu. And I just love that part. But instead of, he was training as a Jedi then, but now he's a Jedi Master, and he's training his first, it looks like, his first Padawan. So his first apprentice. Beautiful scene. And then he climbs up on the tree, the bamboo or whatever it's called in Star Wars. And then he tells Grogu, through the Force, you will find balance as well. And then the Force theme kicks in. This is overall, it's a fantastic episode. It's just well done. And then, of course, we see Grogu doing more training. He's having Grogu balance on one foot. And then Luke turns on his lightsaber and he starts like doing all these lightsaber moves. And Luke introduces the training remote to Grogu. So Grogu thinks, of course, it's like a bigger ball, like his old silver ball from the Razor Crest, rest in peace, or in pieces. So Grogu pushes the ball and Luke tells him, it's not like that. So Luke switches the training remote on with the Force as it starts floating, and then it blasts. It fires a blast at Grogu, and Grogu jumps back. And a lot of fans online love this as well. Luke tells Grogu, get back up. Always get back up. And at that moment, a collective, that's my Luke Skywalker, was heard around the galaxy. So Grogu's hopping, and then Grogu starts learning. He's hopping and jumping around. The training remote is following him around. He's jumping on rocks. The score is great. Grogu, and then after a while, Grogu's just had enough. He uses the Force and he fucking crushes the remote. He's like, I'm fucking done with this shit. It's time for a nap. So right where he's at, he actually just lays down there. He's exhausted. So, and then Ahsoka walks in and stands by Luke. And when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, of course this is gonna happen. So many have speculated, there's a lot of fan art online of Ahsoka, when Ahsoka was introduced in season 2, of Ahsoka with Luke, talking with Luke face to face. And so of course that was just fan art on the internet. But who knows if, or Dave Filoni and Favreau already had it planned from the beginning anyway. They have all this story planned out months, even years ahead. So they're talking, and then Luke says it's more, Ahsoka tells Luke, you're doing something like, you're doing well in training him. And Luke just says, it's more like he's remembering than I'm teaching him. And then Ahsoka says, sometimes the student guides the master. And then, of course, Luke says, Ahsoka tells Luke the Mandalorian was here. And then, of course, or no, I think it was Luke that says the Mandalorian was here, wasn't he? Something like that. And then, of course, she gives the gift to Luke. And then Luke, when Luke says something about Grogu that sometimes I think if his
heart's still in it or not.
Yeah, if his heart is really in it or something like that. And then Ahsoka says, so much like your father. And then she basically is ready to leave. And Luke asks her, will I see you again? And then she says, perhaps, may the Force be with you. And then she leaves. But when he asks her, will I see you again? There's kind of like, there's a tone in his voice, like he's lonely. Like, and she actually is a large connection to his father because she trained with his father for many years. So,
and Obi-Wan, like that's his key to his past almost.
Right.
Think about it, you know?
Yeah. Aside from Obi-Wan and Yoda, who was really with Anakin, Ahsoka would have been the another big piece.
And plus she's a hot piece of ass. So
well, yeah.
If he is lonely,
woo!
You know, he might want to force choke you. You know, are you into force choking?
I sure am.
Technically, Ahsoka is like Luke's auntie. So
the harder the better.
Hey, I've seen porn like that. The aunt gets the guy. You know what I mean? So that's perfectly fine.
Oh boy.
On the hub.
So
yeah, on the hub.
But then as soon as that scene happened, it instantly made me realize, like, in that Ahsoka series, I won't be surprised if she comes across Luke then, you know, or sooner or later. But I'm interested to see how they first meet. Eventually, that would be really cool to see.
I hope we get a classy naked scene with Ahsoka in the Ahsoka series. That'll sell me to actually watch it. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck about Ahsoka.
Sorry to disappoint. That won't happen.
It could be classy. No one's talking about showing her tits and ass. We're talking about, you know, a nice fog covering while she's washing. Like
some force fog coming in, you know, force fog.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, because if Timothy's character can get, you know, almost his head's blasted off toward the end, and we'll get toward that. And I have a bone to pick with Jester for that, but we'll get toward the end of that.
What?
Because I asked you about a certain character toward the end, and you nonchalantly batted it away when I was asking you who that was. You proceeded to tell me a story about your father. We'll get into that toward the end.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, I asked you, Clint Eastwood, my dad. We'll get into it when we get toward the spoiler end.
Okay.
You know what you did, asshole.
So
I love you, but you know.
So we get to see Mando jump out of hyperspace, and now he's back to Tatooine. So he lands
queen.
in Boba's palace, and then a Gamorrean guard greets him, and he tells the Gamorrean guard, "I'm here at the request of Fennec Shand." So, and then we're in a meeting. We're in another meeting with a large hollow of where the soldiers are for the Pikes. The Pikes have basically gathered their troops and soldiers, recruited soldiers, whichever, and they're marked where they're at. And so we have the Power Rangers there, but they don't have their little speeder bike Zords. But hey, maybe in the next episode. So they're talking, and then of course, by the way, before that, as Mando is flying to Boba's palace, we see the Jawa Sandcrawler, and they fucking pimp their ride with the Crate Dragon's fucking skull right at the top of the Sandcrawler. I don't know how the fuck they got that shit on there, but I'm assuming that's the Crate Dragon from season 2.
From the
right?
Season 2.
Yeah. So they probably just saw it because they already picked off the Tusken Raiders, picked off the meat, all the good stuff, and they were like, let's get that shit and put it on the Sandcrawler. Like, okay. So yeah, they're in a meeting, and then Fennec Shand's doing all the talking. And then she basically says, like, oh, these are the soldiers, these are the troops. And then this is the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, who's going to help us. And then we see Boba. Boba's here in this episode. He looks at Din Djarin and just gives him a quick nod. And I was like, that's the Boba Fett I know. Didn't say much. And he should have just had his helmet and then just did a cool nod. Like, it would have been fine. But I'm like, it's interesting because he didn't even get any dialogue in this episode. So after that, Mando basically says, I think I can help with that, with getting some soldiers to help them out. And so he flies off to Mos Pelgo, which is now known as Freetown. And he talks to, well, of course, it's not the marshal first, the deputy, fucking deputy Doodog or whatever. He's always fucking up. You need to park your shit in the flats. He's like, who the fuck?
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
Yeah. Oh, but in this episode, the sheriff and the deputy got fucking shot. Oh, the deputy got fucking shot. He got fucking shot so many times that he's not coming back at all.
The deputy is the reason why the sheriff got gunned down so fucking quick.
Right. Which
competent idiot.
Which I guess is good because at least the marshal's still alive because he got shot in the shoulder. It looks like, right?
Yep.
It looked like it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it seemed like all the villagers, all the Freetown people went right away to the marshal. They were like, "Fuck the deputy, he's gone."
Yeah, he's a punk ass bitch.
Hey, Pinhead, did you notice that the deputy had a red shirt on?
Yeah, I did. I did.
So did the marshal.
That's why. So thank you, Kuya, because I busted. I could not help but laugh out loud because I was like, really, Star Wars, you space wizards fucks, you're doing this.
They did a Star Trek little jab there. Not only
that, they did it in a proper context where they quick bite the dust because that's the red. We bite the dust quick when we have a red shirt on.
Yep.
Yeah, Filoni and Favreau are probably like, let's give something for the Trekkies.
No,
well,
they're Trekkies.
They're Trekkies too. Don't even try it.
Oh, you guys, they know.
Because in order to like space wizards, you have to love the Trek. Sorry about your damn luck, but that's the truth.
Yeah, it was funny because like we didn't
even George has admitted it.
Yeah, we didn't even know the name of the deputy at all because like we were just like, who the fuck is this fucking scumbag?
Just like the red shirts,
like,
you don't know shit. Unless you make up headcanon in your that guy, he had a family. Like, no, he was a nobody that was meant to bite the dust.
Hey, Mike, inside the bar, like when the marshal and Din Djarin was talking.
Yeah.
Did you notice the crate skeleton?
No.
Yeah, the little posts that they have, they put the fucking crate dragon in there.
Oh, I need to check that out then. I didn't notice that.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah. So yeah, of course we jumped ahead a bit, but yeah, before Mando leaves, Marshal Vanth tells him, things are tough out here, but I'll see what I can do, because he needs to convince the people of Freetown to join the fight. But Mando was saying, well, I thought you didn't like bullies. So, but yeah, Mando leaves, and then of course Marshall Vanth notices something in the wind. Something is glowing differently. And when he looks at the horizon, someone in a hat is walking. And the title of the episode is The Stranger. From the desert comes a stranger. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. As soon as I saw the beam
Silhouette.
with the hat, I was like, holy fucking shit, it's Cad Bane. I knew it. And the thing with Star Wars characters is they're very recognizable by their silhouette. George Lucas has been very clear about that. So,
Not to me.
well,
And that's why me and Jester will pick that bone as we get, because I don't care about Clone Wars. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna do, and in Jester's defense, as I'm not gonna do what his dad did. I'm not gonna watch the fucking Clone Wars of these episodes. I just asked a simple question and I couldn't get the answer.
Well, you hadn't watched it yet. I didn't want to spoil anything.
And hold on, in Jester's defense, I understand why he was doing it, because he's like, just for, he has this little tail. He's a beautiful man. I love this guy. I love you, Jester. You're my boy. You my road dog, but you have this little tail where you deflect in the instance that I might actually watch Clone Wars. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna watch Rebels. I'm not gonna watch. So for everybody, not just this panel, in the future, when I ask a question, I don't care about spoilers. In the future, I want people to understand on this panel, any 2 listeners we have left, besides Brad, and I don't even know if he's still listening. I don't care about spoilers. I'm not gonna watch Rebels. I'm not gonna watch Clone Wars.
what do you want to know?
I'm not gonna read the thousands books that there is. And my point was, I asked Jester, on who was that guy, and I couldn't get an answer. But now I know he's Cat Bane. Who the fuck is Cat Bane? And why is he supposed to be so goddamn badass?
Okay, so Cad Bane, to put it simply, when Jango Fett was alive, Jango Fett was the #1 bounty hunter in the galaxy. Cad Bane is top 2.
Okay.
So when Jango Fett died, Cad Bane was #1.
So that means Boba's better than him?
So there is a fight or a duel where, is it a deleted scene where Boba shoots him in the head?
Yes, correct. They both shoot each other in the head at the same time.
They both shoot each other in the head at the same time.
Deleted scene.
Yeah, and see, Jester brought that reference up. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I don't know what that means.
Okay, so over time, so basically is it season 1 or season 2? Now I'm trying to, because it's been
when we see Cad Bane.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're going.
Okay. No. I want to give you some context. So in the Clone Wars, Cad Bane is hired to infiltrate the Jedi Temple to retrieve a Jedi holocron.
Okay.
And he's hired by Palpatine, by Darth Sidious, basically.
Feed me more. I like it.
He's hired by Darth Sidious to do Darth Sidious' dirty work. So Cad Bane, he goes up against Anakin over time during the Clone Wars. He goes up against Anakin. He threatens Anakin and exploits his weakness through Padme, which Cad Bane didn't know. Padme just happened to be there with a bunch of senators. He gets to fight Obi-Wan and actually has, the upper hand. He at some point he grabs a lightsaber and gets to duel Obi-Wan for a bit, and then shocks Obi-Wan out of consciousness. So, but that's just some of it. There is a lot more, but
so we can cut to the quick and thick of this, and we'll wrap it up because you're getting toward the end of this episode. My question is, after all that, is there a potential that we get a Cat Bane and Obi-Wan, the series that we're coming up on? That's my question, because
possible.
we should see that battle. If he's such a fucking badass motherfucker, and I don't deny it because obviously I have no knowledge whatsoever. It's like when I talk about wrestling and people are, this is new to me and I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
So is there a small implication that we might see him in the Obi-Wan series? Because maybe if he's such a fucking badass, let's see that fight. Let's see, even if it's in flashback, let's see that fight.
Right. I'm not sure. Maybe. Who knows? But the fact that they now brought him to live action is huge because again.
Well, that's what I mean. And that's what I mean.
Right.
He's now officially been brought into live action. So
right. And I
like this guy. I didn't know who he was until you. Thank you, but I like this guy. Like this guy's a fucking badass.
And that's why ever since he was first introduced to the Clone Wars, he captured everyone's imaginations because he genuinely is a motherfucking badass in the Clone Wars. He's gone up against Jedi. It doesn't matter who he's fighting against. He always comes up with something. Like he even at one point he had to escape. I think he had to put on clone trooper armor to disguise himself to get away from the Jedi. Like it was fucking genius. Like he has done a lot in the Clone Wars, and that's why the fan base around him and his introduction here was absolutely huge because now that he's in live action, there's no way that they're gonna kill him instantly. He's got to be. And if the Book of Boba Fett has a second book, or we spin off into a movie or whatever, there has to be more Cad Bane. There definitely will be because he is a
because I want more. Character. I want more.
Yeah.
Because I 100% agree with you. I know nothing about this character, like you guys, and I want more of him. That's a testament to the writing. I want more of this badass fucking. I want to see him wreck shit.
I'm hoping by next week we will. We definitely will.
We'll see next episode.
We'll probably get a rematch on him versus Boba. That's going to be big. So, I want to jump to that because when he's
Boba back in his own show, you know.
Exactly. when he arrived, and he's just walking. Right?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm done.
You're good. So he arrives to Freetown. He's just walking. He doesn't take a speeder. He doesn't ride in anything. Like he's just fucking walking. So I love the introduction. And then when Marshall Vance sees him, Cad Bane just basically says, basically tells him after they have the old fashioned like shootout, of course, because fucking deputy had to get in the way. I'm not gonna leave you, sheriff. So he gets what, like 5-6 shots. Like he shoots, he dispatches Marshall Vance real quick. But it looks like, he's hitting the shoulder, and then he fucking shoots the deputy. I shot the sheriff, and I fucking shot the deputy. Like, holy shit, dude. So, Cad Bane, and the original voice actor, Corey Burton, does the voice for this. His voice sounds different from the animation, and it sounds cool, too, in the Clone Wars. But it also sounds menacing here in live action. And if I'm not mistaken, that's also him, right, Jester?
I want to say it is, and I'm really looking forward to the gallery episodes because I really hope he's underneath that makeup.
Yeah. So Cad Bane basically says Tatooine belongs to the Syndicate. As long as the spice keeps running, everyone will be left alone. Oh, and also before that, he tells Marshall Vance before they shoot up. Hold on, sorry. In his introduction, his hat. The brim of his hat is just covering his eyes. So Marshall's like, can't even see his eyes.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, right? And then when Marshall Vance says, I'm sorry, I didn't, sorry, let me jump back again. Cad Bane says, whatever, Cobb Vanth, whatever Fett is paying you, we'll match it. Just stay put and don't get involved. And the deputy says, the marshal ain't for sale. And the marshal looks at him like he fucking wants to shoot him. Like, shut
the fuck up.
Don't
kid.
talk for me.
I don't need you.
Yeah. Like, what the hell, bro? Like, shut up.
Go back to the kitchen and wash the dishes, young man.
Right.
We don't need you.
But then again, like we've seen this before in a Western, right? It's nothing new. It's just set in a galaxy far, far away. So Marshall says, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." And then Cad Bane just looks up and you see those red eyes. And then he just says, "Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire." So, and then Marshall Vamp tells him, "You tell your spice runners Tatooine is closed for business." And then Cad Bane tells him, "You should have never given up your armor." And then right then and there, we have the shootout. And then Cad Bane basically tells him, "Tatooine belongs to the Syndicate. As long as the Pike's business keeps running, no one will get hurt. Everyone will be left alone." And then, of course, everyone rushes outside to the marshal. We're like, "Fuck the deputy. Let's get to our sheriff. We need him. He's actually a better guy." And then Cad Bane just turns around and starts walking away. And then as soon as that happens, we go to the sanctuary where Jennifer Beals and their, the sanctuary is popping. We see two Pikes walk in.
Hold on. We also have to mention, as Cad Bane walks away, he mentions the Syndicate runs this town.
Yeah, I said that.
As long as you keep production. And this is why I felt like I was in Dune, because they kept mentioning the spice. As long as you keep the production of the spice, you won't have to worry about anybody bothering you. I'm like, spice. What are we in Dune? Are we on Arrakis? But then I remembered we're in Space Wizards territory. But I just thought that had to be mentioned because it was important, because he's letting people know the Syndicate runs this shit.
Yeah. So don't mess with the spice.
Exactly.
Everything will be nice. So when we're back to the Syndicate, we see two Pikes walk in with a cam tono, which is the container. And they're hanging out for a bit. They leave it. Was it under the table? It looks like they leave it under the table or on top of the table.
Like on the side of the thing.
On the side, yeah. Thank you.
And the droid grabs it.
The droid even asked them, like, "Can I get you anything?" And they're like, "No, we're good."
You forgot your canteen.
Yeah, as they leave, the droid follows them and says, "You left your cam tono." And then Jennifer Beals looks at it and fucking place blows up. And so, like the Tusken, at least the Tusken Raiders, we didn't see them get massacred. Which, by the way, there's the theory that Cad Bane probably was the one who did that, who killed off Boba's Tusken Raider family, adopted Tusken Raider family, because Fennec Shand even mentioned, what's this? The gang, the speeder bike gang wouldn't do this or something like that.
She said it'd be highly unlikely that the biker gang would be able to best the Tuskens.
Right. But yeah, even if the symbol was there, it could have just easily been planted just to make it look, like it was them, but it wasn't. So, and then of course, and wasn't it Boba Fett that said the sanctuary will be protected under my supervision? I'll make sure that it's protected. And the Pikes just blew it up. So Boba won't be happy when he finds out the sanctuary was blown up to bits. And then, of course, after that, we go back to the training temple, which is now the Jedi Academy, which is now completed. The androids have finished at least that first structure, and inside is Luke and Grogu. So Luke is sitting in front of Grogu, and then Luke opens up the gift that Mando brought, and it is little Mando Mithril for Grogu. And then Luke says, "The Mandalorian brought you this gift," and Grogu is about to reach for it, but he tells him, "But before you take it, I want to show you something." And then he opens up a box, and it is Yoda's lightsaber. And then he says, "This is a lightsaber. It belonged to my teacher Yoda, and now I'm offering it to you." But Luke tells Grogu, because a lot of fan speculation, even from Mando season 1, season 2, a lot of fan art and fan speculation is like, "Oh my God, Grogu's gonna be a Mandalorian armored Jedi. Like, it's gonna be the best of both worlds." But here, Luke Skywalker is giving the choice to Grogu. If he chooses the armor, he will return to the Mandalorian and forsake the ways of the Force and the Jedi. But if he chooses the lightsaber, if you choose the lightsaber, you'll be the first student in my academy. And he tells him, it may take many years for you to master the Force, and you may never see the Mandalorian again, because a short time for you is a lifetime for someone else. So which do you choose? And of course, a tight close-up on Grogu, who has no idea. Well, I'm sure he probably does, but
I mean, it looked like he was gonna say something.
yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that he was about to open his mouth and say "fuck you, man."
Cut to black.
Yeah.
Directed by Dave
Yeah.
Filoni.
Well, that's what all the fans were saying. Because like, bro, why can't he have both? Just let him have both.
Right. Because and that's what a lot of fans are saying. Luke has got attachments.
No. I really think what's going to happen is going to be like the same thing, like the same thing that happened with Luke in Empire, where he left for his friends.
Same wavelength, because
right?
I know
Remember,
where you're
because
going.
he said like,
with
"Oh, I want to go with my friends and whatever, and save my friends." And then, but then at the end of the day, Luke came back and trained with Yoda again afterwards.
He has two choices, and he chose both.
So I think it kind of it's like kind of a nice parallel that they wrote, or actually Favreau wrote this episode, but Dave directed it. But it was it's kind of like a nice parallel to what Luke did when he was younger, because Yoda said, "You can't, if you leave, I can't train you. You know, you can't be a Jedi. You're not good enough. You're not good enough to whatever, right?" So yeah, I mean, I don't know if he took the armor, that's fine. If he took the lightsaber, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Like it. In regards to the lightsaber, we guys mentioned like it was supposed to be burnt and destroyed and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
I think there was a mention that in one of the comic books that Yoda recreated his old lightsaber, so this might be the replica.
Okay.
It might not be the original one that he lost in Coruscant. So
yeah. Okay.
because like in one of the comics, I believe like it came out as burnt because I think was it Luke was the one that burned it, or Darth Vader? I can't remember which one.
Well, no. So the saber was burnt in Order 66 when they compiled all the lightsabers of all the Jedi that were massacred from the clone troopers, and they burned them in a big pile. And when Yoda was fighting Palpatine in the
it came off. Yeah,
he lost it.
Yeah, he lost it. He dropped it. It fell. Yeah, it fell.
So yeah, I mean, it might like I believe there was like an obscure comic book that where he recreated it and explained that he had to. He has no use for it anymore, but he wanted to recreate one for whatever reason. So I don't know.
Interesting. I like what you said, Kuya, about the parallel to Empire.
Yeah.
However, there are differences because Luke saw the vision of his friends being tortured, and that's what prompted him to go help them.
Yeah, but this it's kind of the similar choice though. I mean, like he had no choice in Empire, like because he had to help, right? Because he saw the vision. But on this one, Luke was giving him a choice because he knows the attachment that he has with Mando and all that stuff.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The difference here is Grogu, while he's capable of using the Force, he's not necessarily like Luke, where Luke could actually already fight. Now, Luke could fight, yeah, but then of course we know that he lost. He lost terribly to Vader. But here, Grogu is not also seeing the Mando in pain or getting hurt or anything.
No, but this is the thing though. No, this is the thing though, Mike. Remember like when Ahsoka and Luke were talking, he was like, "Oh, you're training him well," or whatever. And Luke just casually mentioned, "Oh, he's more like remembering, not really training in a sense."
Right.
So basically, in my eyes, or in what I see in my head canon, that Grogu is a fucking Padawan already. That he's not a baby because he is 50 years old.
Right.
I understand, and 50 years old might be like it could be a teenager, it could be like
Well, he's
a
still a
youngling
child
or
to them.
whatever.
Yeah, he's still a child
Yeah,
in this
but still, he would have enough abilities in the sense, because like if he's remembering shit like that, then it would be, it would be fine, because like the way he crushed the fucking little sphere droid was pretty easy.
right.
Not like before, because before he had to concentrate and shit. This time around, he just sort of like grabbed, he just put his hand up, and then it fucking just like got crushed easy. So
Right.
I don't know.
But the thing
I
is
mean,
also, I think Ahsoka, when Ahsoka first met them, and she instantly realized the connection that Grogu and Mando shared. She
Mhm.
also I remember she mentioned, I've seen what something like, I've seen what that darkness can do to even the best of us. So because
Mhm.
remember, yeah, when Grogu in season 1, when Mando was in trouble from Cara Dune, Grogu
Mhm.
started strangling Cara
Yep.
Dune, like force choking her.
Like
And that's a
easily,
Sith, that's
yeah.
a dark side thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, he still needs to learn the clear, like, hey, that's dark side shit. Like, yeah, your buddy's not really getting hurt. So, but yeah, I see what you're saying. So that's interesting.
No, it would be, it would be like right now the speculation with all the fans is like, oh, is Grogu gonna wear the armor and help out against the fight with the Pikes, or or whatnot, or is this gonna be like in Mando season 3, where there's gonna be a big ass reunion or whatever, right? For me at this point, I'm like, anything goes. Like if he returns back to school, back to the temple, then that's fine with me, and continue on with the training. I'm sure they're gonna go back and forth in season 3, like where Mando tries to visit every so often and says hello or whatever. I don't have any problems with that. You know what I mean?
I don't think we're gonna get that season
But
3 Luke, because I think it's
but
gonna
I
focus on Mandalore already.
but we'll see.
But who knows?
Again,
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah. But I like that a lot of people are, of course, are like annoyed that Luke is having him choose. But when Luke started, he also had to learn how to trust in the Force and
Yep.
how to not depend on, like in A New Hope, when he blew up the Death Star, he was using his targeting computer, but he heard Obi-Wan's voice in his head say, use the
Use the
Force, Luke.
Force.
Trust your instincts. So he
Use
turned
the
off the targeting
Force.
computer and he tapped into the Force to fire the proton torpedoes to blow up the Death Star. So in this case, Luke doesn't necessarily want Grogu to also rely on that armor, and that's why I think he's also having him choose, like, it's one or the other, because Luke wants to train Grogu to really, or at least maybe help him remember to really use the Force and trust the Force, basically,
Yeah.
and not have to depend on.
I'm sure at the end of the day, what if Grogu like chooses the lightsaber or whatever, and stays, once he becomes like a full-fledged Jedi, or like a Padawan or whatever, I'm sure he's gonna get the mithril armor back anyways, just because, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just like it's more of a, like, like a win-win situation in a sense. So I mean, this episode is, for me, is one of the better episodes that I've seen. I still feel bad for the Boba Fett fans, because they only got like 2 seconds of Boba Fett in the show, and it's Book of Boba, show, not the book of what's next for the next series of Star Wars and everything. But I digress. This is like one of the best episodes I've seen in regards to Star Wars. The fact that Cad Bane sounded so fucking sinister, the way he was talking was very direct. In the Clone Wars and in Rebels, he's more of a like it sounded like more of a I'm telling you this, I'm telling you that, whatever. This one was more direct. He was like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like this is this is how it's gonna go. So I like that part. The way that instead of the big ass hat that he had in Rebels and Clone Wars. It's actually the little short one now, which is kind of cool. I like it. Yeah, that's how I see it. It's one of the better episodes. So that's my feedback.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna wrap up from my perspective. Without a doubt, this is my favorite episode so far. I'm really excited to see what happens next week in the finale. There's a lot of rumors, and I'm guessing. I'm going with it's now. Of course, anything now is possible. It's been rumored that we're gonna get a young Han Solo, supposedly, who may help. Supposedly, and Luke may even show up to help fight, or maybe not because he's busy training. That's if Grogu chooses the lightsaber. But if Luke helps out Boba and the somehow ends up on Tatooine, because Mando's gonna ask for Luke's help, and Luke will probably say something like, "I can't help, but here, I'm gonna send some buddies of mine to help you out," and that's Han and Chewie. That would be cool too. Who knows?
Or Ahsoka. I'm saying. I don't
Or
know.
Ahsoka, but if we get Luke, Han, and some are even speculating maybe even a young Leia, Leia together again on screen, that would do it for a lot of fans as well. But who knows? There supposedly when Carrie Fisher died after Rogue One, the family did not want her image to be used anymore for anything.
Good.
But supposedly that has changed. Who knows? So we'll find out. We will find out. Any other thoughts on the episode, Jester?
These past 2 episodes have been some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen, and it's really difficult. I am quite emotionally torn as a Boba Fett fan and a Star Wars fan right now to have this good Star Wars, like this amazing Star Wars in the Boba show, and Boba is not even a part of it. And I really can't finalize those feelings just yet because the series isn't over yet. So I'm hoping that all this will come together in a way that would make complete sense. As of right now, I do not think that this is a good Boba Fett show. This is an amazing, amazing Star Wars show, though. So that is where I am at currently. This show has been quite a roller coaster for me. I'm really hoping this finale brings it all together, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday. I am extremely excited. And I would also like to say that I don't think I've talked about this much Star Wars like ever. I think this show has brought out the theories and out of everybody just constantly talking about this show and like what we're going to see and what's possible. So I'm really thankful for that. And I'll leave it at that.
Pinhead, any other parting thoughts on this episode?
I'll make it short and sweet. I 100% agree with Kuya and Jester, especially Jester because he's right. I didn't give a fuck about this show. This is not a Book of Boba show. It's not. It's not a Boba Fett show. Let's just end the debate. It's not. It's progressing stories further for Mandalorian, for Obi-Wan. That's fine. Like Jester said, this is a Space Wizards show. And I'm fucking all about it. I love this show. Quite frankly, I think I might like this better than Mandalorian Season 2. And I enjoyed Mandalorian Season 2 because we're getting more implications from this show, which is supposed to be about Boba Fett, which I stand by my statement in the last episode, which we got heated. I understand why Boba Fett fans are angry because this is not a Boba Fett show. It is not. Anybody with half a brain can see this is a setup for more other shit, whether it be Obi-Wan, whether it be season 3 of Mandalorian, whether it be Rogue Squadron, and we just don't know it yet. But this episode was fantastic. As a non-fan who is the outside looking in, I love this shit. This episode especially, because we have very, very big implications on what we can do here if we do it right. You know, I love Mike. I love you, brother. But I ain't in the holy Filoni fucking he can do nothing wrong camp. I'm not there yet. He's getting me close, but I'm not there yet. You got to give me a little bit more, brother. Because I'm not initiated in the Space Wizards fucking fandom. If you want me to be initiated in the Space Wizards Star Wars fandom, you got to give me a little more.
So what do you want? What more do you want?
Well, we need to clean it up a little bit because the fact of the matter is I'm going toward Kuya's prediction. If I had my way as a fan, Grogu's going to choose the armor. We're going to get that specific callback to Empire because lest we forget, Luke got his ass whooped in Empire. But when he came back and he learned more, much like Grogu could do, when he came back and learned more, he was an unstoppable beast. And I really think that arc is going to play off because I think Luke's going to give him the choice that he was never given. Luke was never given the choice. It was forced upon Luke. If you actually watch it, it was forced upon Luke. And he navigated through the world knowing his father was a ruthless bastard who did what he did, whatever. We have Darth Vader. The first match, he got obliterated. What happened in the second match in Return of the Jedi? When we see what he did to Darth Vader, we see that his anger can actually supersede his force powers. That's why his father's hand was cut off. You know, it's an allegory to how his father cut his hand off. What I'm saying is, we don't know anything about Grogu. We have no idea. We don't know that when he crushed that remote control, you know, remotes, as Han Solo once said in A New Hope, we don't know that when he took his nap on the rock that he didn't see the future of what was going to happen. Because what are you guys saying? This is 20 years, 30 years after Return of the Jedi?
This is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. 5 or 6 years after Jedi.
Okay, so there you go. We don't know what Grogu saw. This is 5 years. So let's, for the sake of argument, say this is 6 years after Return of the Jedi. We don't know anything about Grogu. What do we really know about Grogu? We don't know that he may be weaker than Luke. He may be more powerful than Luke. He may even be more powerful than Yoda himself. We don't know. The only thing I'm saying is we need to wait and see because there's a huge implication that maybe we might get and this may be my own headcanon, but maybe Grogu will choose the armor, join the battle with, you know, the Mandalorian, which is now, this is what the series is. It's Mandalorian 2.5. Maybe he'll join the Mandalorian and Boba and we can battle and we have another battle with, who knows, Cat Bane, the Syndicate. Who knows? We don't know. There's a lot of implications for this next episode. I'm hoping who directs the next episode?
Not sure. No idea.
I'm hoping it's Favreau. I'm really hoping it's
might
Favreau.
be. It might be, most likely.
At the very least, Deborah Chow. But Favreau, I'm going there. So
Watch it be Rodriguez.
Oh, God.
That would be fine too, because then actually that would be fine too if it's not short of Rodriguez or Favreau, because we need that style to hammer home what we're, because no matter what, no matter if your theory's right, my theory's anybody's theory's right, this is all going to set up for Obi-Wan. We know this, and it's going to set up for future seasons of Mandalorian. More importantly, this is the segue leading into Mandalorian season 3. We all know that Mandalorian season 3 is happening. Like, come on. So we'll see what happens. As a non-Space Wizards fan, I'll just say this. I'm very excited to see what happens next week. I'm far more excited to see what happens with this series finale than I am with Peacemaker. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, real quick.
God.
I wanted to mention there's this girl on TikTok, and she came up with a really interesting theory.
I want to hear it. I'm interested.
I'm trying to look for her TikTok.
Do you want me to send it to you again?
Yeah,
please. Or if you can just get her name so we can mention, at least give her credit.
Yeah, I definitely want to give her a shout out for this one because it made me think.
So
like,
as Jester's looking for that TikTok, so this girl's theory is actually like really interesting, because if this is what happens, then that's pretty damn cool. So anyway, her theory is that since they didn't show us yet how Grogu gets out of the Jedi Temple during Order 66 and who saves him, her theory is that the one character that saves him, or
I
was
got it right here.
Okay, you got it. Okay, so what's her name?
Kaludia says it's KALUBIA and then says SAYS.
Okay, so her
unfortunately
theory,
it's only got 7,000 likes. Like, what in the world?
what, that shit needs to blow up more.
I completely agree.
If she ends up being right, then holy shit! If this is what happens,
So Grogu was in the Jedi Temple.
He was in the Jedi Temple. Her theory is the character.
No, we know that for fact. Grogu was in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, that's what I said. So
no, never mind.
So the character that saves Grogu from the Jedi Temple, her theory is that it's Boba Fett. Boba Fett was hired by Palpatine to save or to get Grogu out of the Jedi Temple because he knew of Grogu's existence.
Should I just play her audio?
Yeah, sure.
I can just play her audio right here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Play, please. That's not it. That's not. Sorry, I was ready and then I got out of it. Here, okay, here we go. My goodness.
66 or even possibly they're definitely going to mention Order 66 or even possibly show it. Somebody in my comments was like, what if Boba? So that video and that theory I made right before the Book of Boba Fett came out. Go watch it. Basically, it's about how I think Boba Fett was the person who saved Grogu in the temple. He was hired by Palpatine. It was Palpatine's secret project. He didn't want anybody to know. He hired some bounty hunters to save a little extra for later for his experiments. So why is that now even more likely going to happen because of this episode? For one, I did accurately predict that they would show Order 66, but they're showing Grogu remembering, and they still haven't shown who saved him. They're doing this in Boba Fett's show. Now, unless this is just crappy storytelling, Boba is clearly on a path of redemption. Had Bane said he worked for the Empire, he was a bad person. But through the Tuskens, through helping Din with Grogu, he started on that path. Also notice they've never shown Boba and Grogu in the same room. They're definitely going to mention Order 66.
That's it?
Yeah, so that it, for me, it tracks a lot because in the Clone Wars, Darth Sidious hires Cad Bane and a bunch of bounty hunters to basically kidnap Force-sensitive children for Palpatine's experiments on Mustafar. And so I think it was Anakin and Ahsoka end up going there to save these. They're basically infants, right? Force-sensitive infants, because the Jedi used to take Force-sensitive babies from their parents. They didn't want the parents to be attached. They didn't want the children to be attached to their parents. So the Jedi were, and they had the reputation for being basically for kidnapping kids, essentially. I mean, but the Jedi would do it, of course, with the permission of the parents. But they didn't want the children to have any attachments from the parents, so they had to take them while they were infants, so that they would not form those bonds. But anyway, that it tracks with that storyline in the Clone Wars, and it also connects in season 2 when Mando, Cara Dune, and Greef Karga find that Imperial lab where they're doing some experiments on what looks like an early version of Snoke or something, or some kind of clone.
We still don't know what he was doing with it, to be honest.
But then also, what's his name? Moff Gideon. Clearly, what they wanted the child to do some experiments on the child, on Grogu, for whatever, because of the midichlorian count, the high midichlorian count, because the species of Grogu and of course Yoda is very connected to the Force. So, but yeah, also when in season 2 when Boba never sees the kid, he never sees Grogu. He just tells Mando, "I'll help you so I can get my because you helped me get my armor back. Let me help you retrieve the child back." So it could have easily been a case of where Boba was basically hired or commissioned to retrieve this asset, this child, and take him for Palpatine, or maybe Boba at some point before the events of Jedi dropped him off or something at that location, and then or who knows. There's also another theory that it could have been Mace Windu, but then by the time Order 66 happens, Mace Windu's already down in the he's already dead, right? Or supposedly dead.
Supposedly dead, yeah.
He's already thrown out the window. But that's the thing. At some point, I don't understand. Mace Windu was the second most powerful Jedi next to Yoda in the council. Yeah, he got his arm chopped off and he fucking got fried and he got thrown out. But I mean, come on, if Darth Maul can be sliced in half and yet come back with spider legs, and later cybernetic legs or whatever, anything is possible for any character to come back. So at least in the galaxy far, far away. And then another thing I wanted to, so yeah, if that's what happens and Boba was responsible for the child being there where Mando, that would be cool. I see how that, if that's what happens, but hey, that's just speculation. And that's part of the fun of being a fan and watching all of this unfold, because we're allowed to speculate and see what happens. But she did, and she even mentioned in her TikTok, she called it that they were going to show a flashback of Order 66. So, and then another thing I wanted to mention, which I thought was interesting, real quick. This is from Esquire.com. So Matthew Wood, who's one of the sound guys at Skywalker Sound, who's also the voice of General Grievous. He's obviously working on the Book of Boba Fett. He's worked on The Mandalorian. He said that Mark Hamill did not record any dialogue for The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett episodes. Quote, "It's a neural network you feed information into, and it learns. So I had archival material from Mark in that era." So that's pretty cool, pretty crazy, and pretty creepy at the same time, because he basically fed the neural network with Mark Hamill's dialogue during Return of the Jedi, in the film and the extra footage or whatnot. And then the network learned Mark Hamill's voice. And so that's why you have Mark Hamill sounding like Mark Hamill around the Return of the Jedi era in Chapter 6. And then, but Mark Hamill was on set, of course. They were saying that he was on set. Let's see. They brought Mark Hamill to the set so he could actually perform. And a 30-year-old looking, a 30-year-old looking body double was brought in too. Then Hamill and the body double were effectively put in a visual effects program called Lola and blended together until on screen we had a de-aged human smoothie. That's what it says here. So really fascinating. I'm curious to see, definitely, the gallery episode of, I hope we get several episodes, because on Cad Bane alone, that's one at least 30, 45-minute episode that you could do on bringing Cad Bane to life. Or maybe it'll be an hour long and they'll just put it all together, whichever. That would be cool. But yeah, really looking forward to the next episode. So we shall find out what happens. And yes, this is definitely, I would have to say, this is the best Star Wars content that Disney has produced ever since Disney acquired the franchise.
Yep.
No question.
No question.
So
yeah, it's the best thing they ever done since the Last Jedi.
And
Pound sand.
and I will just say that's what happens when you have guys who not just know, but really understand the material, like Favreau and Filoni. They are fans.
And Johnson. Yeah.
But they you can say what you want about. I mean, hey, I like Last Jedi too, but
in my head canon, it makes absolute sense.
I mean, you're entitled to everyone.
The way that you guys were gushing about, like, Luke Skywalker having these abilities to control droids and all that shit, and I'm like, so there's powers that Luke has now.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. If you like it, awesome. But it's just not for me.
Well, let me clarify. I never had a problem with Luke in Last Jedi.
Neither did I.
A lot of people did.
Neither
Okay.
I want to say,
so just calm down.
52% of the fan base.
I'm not part of that 52, so calm down.
I'm good though.
Alrighty.
It's all right.
Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Everyone's other favorite show, Peacemaker, on HBO Max. Because of course, so we're on chapter 6 on the Book of Boba Fett, and we're also on episode 6 on Peacemaker, because Peacemaker dropped the first 3 episodes, so they've kind of caught up in a sense. But of course, Peacemaker has 8 episodes. Book of Boba has 7 chapters. So Peacemaker episode 6, entitled Myrn After Reading, 46 minutes. Myrn reveals his deepest secret. Augie is set free. The botched arrest of Peacemaker sends alien Goth into an unexpected new host. So I don't even read that. Description. I just hit play and I just watched it. I liked this episode. But I have to say, Vigilante was getting on my nerves and was annoying because he just wouldn't quit. Like, holy shit, bro, you gotta calm down. Because they're asking Goff Butterfly in the jar, yes or no questions. Peacemaker tells Goff 1 tap for no, or is it 2 taps for no and 1 tap for yes?
It was 1 tap for yes, 2 taps for no.
Thank you. 1 tap for yes, 2 taps for no. Yes or no questions only. And Vigilante's like, okay, I get it. First question, you could whatever. But after that, like, you keep, like, I'm just like, bro.
What's your favorite color? Is it teal?
Yeah.
Is it this?
Like, okay.
And just the ongoing conversation, just, oh my gosh, it's driving me nuts.
That goes back to Gunn, because this is all James Gunn. He wrote all of this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All the episodes. The only writer that's credited, it seems like, on all episodes is James Gunn himself. So yeah. But then I like the fact that so his father gets to go home for free, or gets out of jail, and then he finally gets the costume that they showed of the White Dragon. He now gets into with his white supremacist army, which I'm really interested to see the showdown that he has against Peacemaker now, his son, because he wants to kill his son, because he of course found out that it was supposed to be Peacemaker that went to jail and not him, but thanks to Economos. Of all the people that could have been framed or that could have been set for the fingerprints, it had to be his Peacemaker's father. And then, of course, they go to arrest Peacemaker, and they barely get Mern's phone call. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Mern, who we thought was gonna kill Adebayo, actually explains to her that I'm not gonna hurt you, and he's a butterfly, but he's actually the good guy. He's not with the rest of the butterfly alien invasion on Earth. So thought that was interesting because, and of course, Harcourt knew, Economos knows, but he'll put his fingers in his fucking ears every time it's mentioned. So, and then of course, so all of them basically know, except for Peacemaker and Vigilante. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Peacemaker finds out that he was that he was right all along, that when he speculated Mern was a butterfly. The cops go to Peacemaker's trailer and are planning, wanted to arrest Peacemaker for being at the scene of the crime with the fingerprints and getting it right now. And then of course they escape up top, and then they barely, how you can't see, oh, I guess the trees are there, but how you can't see this bodybuilder action figure of a guy with a fucking red shirt on. It was beyond me, but hey, there's trees up there. The trees are big, I guess. And so, what's her name? The agent finds them, and then of course, before you know it, Goff is released and is now the new host. She's now the new host for Goff. I want to say, hold on. So Sophie Song is the cop, the detective. So she's now the new host for Goff. And then of course the creepy, that sheriff is really creepy, that actor.
Dude, I love that actor so much. I was introduced to him through Hell on Wheels, the AMC original show. Best villain. He's just hands down with some of the best villain I have ever seen on TV. And when I saw him in this, I'm going to jump ahead just a hint. I was like, oh, like this actually might be a pretty good show. Like, they got him in here. And yeah, he was super creepy. And I was like, okay, awesome villain. Like, I'll probably maybe just keep watching for this guy. And then, butterfly gets in his mouth and it's like, okay, oh, well, for that.
Yeah, man. So creepy. So creepy. I mean, he was already kind of creepy before.
Yeah.
But now he can even be creepier with a butterfly in him. So
that's
I'm like,
true.
Holy shit, dude. But yeah, and then of course, before you know it, Goff communicates with all the butterflies, and then, oh yeah, the sheriff does let Peacemaker and Vigilante know there's a car for you waiting, and he's like, what are you standing around for? Go. Like, so they take the car. Peacemaker's trying to make a phone call, probably to Harcourt and the crew, but of course Vigilante throws the phone, and he's like, they can trace you. Peacemaker's like, that's an untraceable phone.
It was a burner phone.
I'm like, holy shit, dude. So anyway, yeah, before you know it, Goff is now communicating with a swarm of butterflies, and they infiltrate the police station, and then of course chaos ensues. No one is left. So now, and that's the thing. Once you have a butterfly inside you, that's it. So once the butterfly is killed, then the host is dead as well. There's no coming back from it. So it's not like other stories or other shows where you can still come back from that.
Get your brain back somehow.
Yeah, they made it, or unless I guess a butterfly can't just leave. They have to, or they can leave if but that'll destroy the brain, I guess, or something like that. Yeah. So there's definitely no coming back from it. But yeah, overall, I like the episode. We're basically coming down to, there's now a warrant. They announced it on the news, and then the journal that Adebayo planted in Peacemaker's trailer. But that was actually based on his father, right? All the information there, or they just basically made a journal and made it seem like it was Peacemaker's.
I don't know. I don't think we know yet. But that's a good question, though. I'm sure we'll find out because it's in that dude's desk.
Right. So, and then there's now a manhunt for Peacemaker. So they basically announced that they're, but from what it looks like, of course, it's just the cops going after Peacemaker, but it's more than just the cops now. It's the butterfly alien invasion, and they're after Peacemaker. So, and he's just like, what the? Oh, and it does end, of course, with Jonathan Cena himself tickling the ivory. And I was curious if that was really him, and that was him, because James Gunn, of course, posted a video of him playing the piano. So, any other thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, it was horrible. I don't know why I'm still watching this show. Gosh, like I'm so debating on not even watching the next one. It's so bad, man. I just don't like it. I really don't like it. I'm happy that those that do like it, I'm good for you guys. I'm glad you guys are having a good time and you're enjoying the humor, but man, does it feel like I'm just dragging my face across broken glass. It's just like, dude, I can't even. It's just not for me. Not for me. That's all. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, Kuya or Pinhead, whoever wants to go.
They chose to continue on with this fucking train wreck of a show than Man of Steel 2 or continuation of the Snyderverse or anything. So that's all I got to say about that. So it's bullshit.
Trivia, did anybody know what song John Cena was playing on the piano?
It was Poison.
You should know.
Home Sweet Home, Poison, I think.
There you go.
I turned it off when I was watching him play it.
Or Motley Crue, sorry.
Boys to Men. What the fuck? Motley Crue, Home Sweet Home. He played on the piano, and that was the best part of the episode. This show is fucking absolute grot. It's fucking trash. And quite frankly, Jonathan Cena isn't even the worst part. He tries to be, but this show is poorly written. It's poorly directed. It's poorly acted. It's fucking trash. It's fucking garbage. I don't understand how some of these brain deads could love this shit so much, except for loyalty to DC and maybe the Snyder, the ghost of Snyder and David Ayer, which, by the way, you guys all hated David Ayer's cut, which is far superior than anything we've been given from this garbage. This is fucking garbage. And that shit was garbage. This is trash. Like, I don't understand how we can keep going down this road. Like Kuya said, we want a Batman TV series. We want a Man of Steel 2. You give us Grotman, Peacemaker, Fuckwit, and Poker. Like, I don't care about these characters. Like, I don't care. And Mike is correct. The one character that I actually gave a fuck about, you made him one of the most obnoxious, dumbass, brain-dead characters in this episode with Vigilante. He's fucking obnoxious in this episode. Beyond obnoxious. This was not only the worst episode of this series, this is the worst episode of fucking television in the last 40 years. And that includes the fucking soap opera series like Dallas and all the other shit. This shit is garbage. It is poorly written. It's more poorly written than any soap opera like The Bold and the Beautiful or General Hospital or any. It is fucking drag. And James Gunn, who is a high caliber director and actor, should know better than to do shit like this. So this proves to me that he cashed in on it. So fuck you, James Gunn. Fuck Jonathan Cena and fuck DC, Warner Brothers, and all of you. This shit is grot and it should be burnt to the ground. It's fucking trash. It's for brain deads, fanboys, and fucking frat boys. It's fucking garbage.
Alrighty. Moving on to a brand new show. Well, it's brand new for me because I didn't get into it yet. But because of our last episode, we were talking about it, and it got me curious because I wanted to see for myself. Remember last week when we talked about Euphoria and the organization Dare? Was it Dare?
There.
Yeah. So, and they were coming out in the news because of season 2 of Euphoria and saying that it glamorizes teenage drug abuse, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I asked Pinhead what he thought of it because he's seen the show. And then after talking about it even more, I got really curious. So I thought, you know what, I might as well start it and see for myself. I'm curious. All I knew about the show was that Zendaya's in it. She won an award for it, her role in it, right, from season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And all I've seen from season 2 is that it's back, and the new episodes are every Sunday. Everyone's watching it. There's trending hashtags on TikTok that I've seen that wasn't really spoiling anything, but like Euphoria high school or whatever, where all the bitches are fucking hot and everyone looks so good and all that shit. So that was it. That's all I knew. And that, yeah, I just knew that Zendaya's character is unlike, any other character that she's played before, of course. She's a drug addict in this show. And so I just started it that night after we recorded. I started it. First episode. And I was already hooked. So I finished season 1 a few days ago. I've been watching it consistently, almost every day. And I've really enjoyed the show. Do I think it's glamorizing teenage drug abuse? I would say no. From my perspective, from what I've seen, it doesn't. If anything, it's actually given me perspective on what life could be like for a lot of American high school teenagers and what they could be going through. And now I'm only speaking on the show, of course. I don't know anyone else's. I don't know any high schooler right now that's, within my family or any friends that I don't know what they're going through, but I'm just speaking on the show. I thought that the cast is very well, because I only knew about Zendaya, of course, because she's the biggest draw, right? She's the big name in the show. And she's, of course, her star has even gotten bigger ever since. But the rest of the cast, I'm very impressed with because they play the characters very well. I believe that these are actual high school teens. Gone are the days when we used to watch shows about high school teens and they're in their 30s. I actually believe these actors are actually, they probably are in their early 20s, but they legit sold me on that they're in high school. I love the story, the characters, the music, and the visuals that we get, the amazing visuals that we get. Of course, why wouldn't you have amazing, mind-blowing visuals when one of your characters, or not just one, but several of your characters are dabbling into drugs? You get these fantastic sequences and beautiful shots and cinematography and all these things. The season 1 finale stood out for me with the ending and that song and that performance. I love when Zendaya's being like a detective, or she's like figuring out the show will just randomly go into these different things, and it made sense to me. I really enjoyed it, and it gave me perspective because I'm just speaking about myself. I've never dabbled into drugs. I don't know what it's like. I've only heard stories. I only see stuff on movies and TV, and I've only heard stuff from other people that have gotten into it. But seeing this show has opened up my eyes and my perspective on what people are going through and what other things people are possibly going through, and the struggles of someone who is heavy into, whatever drug, and because of other things that happen in their lives, of course, unfortunately. So Rue, Zendaya's character Rue, really fascinating. The cast is fascinating, and I also love Hunter Schafer. She plays Jules, and then Sydney Sweeney, Angus Cloud as Fezco, Maud Apatow. So yeah, everyone in the cast. Another big surprise for me was Eric Dane who was McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy, until they revealed his character. I was like, oh, okay, something's going on here. And then they revealed the actor. That blew me away because I was like, I've always liked him as an actor on Grey's Anatomy because we used to watch that show religiously. But when I saw him here, I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. So that got me hooked into watching more because aside from Zendaya and the rest of the cast, he's also in it. But yeah, I'm blown away. I'm glad that we talked about Euphoria on the last episode and hearing about it from Pinhead and now watching it, it's really opened up my eyes to, and it really made me understand more on what this show is all about. And just doing a quick Google search about it, I didn't know until now that this was based off. So it says here, it's an American adaptation of the Israeli show of the same name. But of course, it's now set here in America. And it makes more, it easily relates to an American audience. So, but yeah, written by Sam Levinson. And then, yeah, so I finished season 1 a few days ago. And I also got to finish the bonus episode of Rue. So I have yet to go into the second bonus episode and then start season 2. So Jester, I understand you binged it and you're up to date, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm up to date.
No, you're not, because a new episode comes out today. Right now.
Okay, so then I probably will stay. I probably will stay unupdated because I'm kind of done with it. It was intriguing. I described it as watching a train wreck, and I just can't look away. I see the appeal, but it's not for me. And I honestly don't know if I can recommend it to anybody either. But yeah, it's just not for me. As the production's well done, the cinematography is like Mike was saying, absolutely fantastic. And the writing's pretty solid. I mean, but yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'll leave it at this last one. So, but yeah, that's all I have to really say about it.
So real quick, I want to mention it was in the middle of season 1 after watching a few episodes. It wasn't anything necessarily in the show, but after I took a break from it, I felt kind of down.
Right.
And then I just figured okay, I just need to take a break from it. Let me take a break from it. And then I'll get back to it when I'm feeling much better. But yeah, it wasn't necessarily anything about the show, but I think it was just the overall, watching the show, several episodes kind of got me down a bit. And then I took a break and then I just got back into it after several hours.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, but I do want to mention that. So yeah, I can see. So yeah, definitely. If anyone who hasn't checked this out, I mean, it says it right there, right at the beginning of the show, it features drug abuse and a lot of other things that, so, but I do want to add also that, yes, if teens are watching this, then the parents should definitely watch this with their teens, because that's something that that's a conversation that needs to be opened up and continued, because what happens with teenagers and parents, usually they drift apart during those high school years, but those are the times when you actually want to have a good close relationship with your parent or with your child, because if they start hiding stuff and then they don't tell you how they feel or anything like that, then who knows what can happen. So, but this is a good primer to get those conversations started. So, anyone else want to go? Kuya, did you start? You started it, right?
He's muted.
You're muted, dummy.
Sorry, I was eating.
There you go.
I was eating. Sorry. Anyways, I'm halfway through season 1, and yeah, I mean, I expected a lot of teen angst, and there was teen angst. It's fine. It's I guess my issue with teen angst is more on how they acted it out. This one was very well acted. I'm surprised at the performances of the actors and the actresses and stuff like that. You guys are spot on with the cinematography, the way everything is Um, again, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna finish it through. If it goes to like season 4 or 5, I'll continue to watch it on it. I'm not a like a huge fan. I'm not a big fan, but I'm very I like it. I like it so far. You know what I mean. Um, you know, sometimes again the thing that my issue is in regards to like certain teenage shows or things that involve teenagers is the over dramatization of things that's happening in their world. You know what I mean? Um, you know, it's the end of the world if you break up with this one dude or one girl or whatever, and you know you don't know what to expect and everything. And I get it. I get it. I was a teenager before. But for me at this point, I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, man, grow the fuck up. Go yeah, go smoke your doobie, go take your drugs and stuff. Like feel good for now, and then move the fuck on. You know what I mean? This show is a little different in that sense. It's more like they more it should the show does show the highs and lows of that life of the things that they have to do in order for them to move on per se. So yeah, I mean, if it I'm just like I'm gonna ask a quick question. Pinhead, does this season 2 it gets a little bit more interesting in a sense, in more of a, how do I explain it? Like some of the stories that like were that are like coming out of season 1, is it going to be expressed more on season 2 in a sense? Are they going to go deep dive into the stuff, or
So season 2, from what I can, because I've only watched the first 2 episodes, because I'm really trying to hold back, especially
yeah.
now. So ask me that next episode.
Okay,
But
okay,
I
okay.
will tell you this from what I've seen, because I'm gonna binge the fuck out of it after this episode,
Hmm.
which will lead me into episode 5, because there will only be 10 episodes at most, like just like last season, like 8 to 10. They
Hmm.
might even shorten this season, because this season they're gonna tell really critical stories that are gonna make, and it's good for Jester that he's stepping out, because it's gonna make it even more. If you thought you were uncomfortable with the first season,
Okay.
buckle up, because this season now we understand who the characters are. We understand who Rue is. We understand who Kat Hernandez is. We understand who obviously her girl Jules is. We know
Okay.
these characters. We know who Lexi is, played by, Maud Apatow. We know who these characters are. We know who Cassie is. I can't wait to see her character arc, because, whew, that's a great looking woman. She's a 21-year, we're close. And like Mike said, it's not like, these 30 to 35, 40-year-olds playing high school students. Like these guys are like these characters, these like Sydney Sweeney. She's 24.
Hmm.
She's 24. Like she's in that bracket. We know how old Zendaya is. Let's
Hmm.
look at Maud Apatow. How old is Maud Apatow? She's 24. She just turned 24 in December. Like these are accurate depictions of actual. They're obviously not teenagers, because we can't do that. Because if we go into teenage territory, we're talking about legalities here. So
Hmm.
we got to stretch it out. But most of these people are within the high school to teenage or high school to college age. And that's what makes this show great. Secondly, I will say this. Maybe I sold it a little too much, and I will admit that. But I sold it a lot because I actually grew up like Rue.
Mm.
Unlike Mike, unlike maybe you, unlike Jester, I actually took these drugs. I actually grew up in the ghetto. We've already had this discussion where I was beat down and I rose up. I took these drugs. I did this shit at a young age. It's not a fucking fun and games joke. And this is what I like about Euphoria. Euphoria does not hold back. It presses your fucking face into the dirty muck that these kids are going through. I know because I went through it during the early 90s.
Yeah.
It's even worse during this timeline, especially with COVID. I know this is how it works because these kids are even more reckless than we were, and we were reckless fucks when we were coming up, doing anything we could get our hands on because we grew up in a very low, impoverished fucking society, in the ghetto like I grew up in the hood, in the actual hood, where I actually watch people get their heads blown the fuck off, where I actually rob people myself, I'll admit it, high as a kite at a young age, which I should not be doing those drugs. This happens. So I can only imagine how it happens now because these kids are even pushed even more further into pressure.
Mm.
You have to identify with something. You have to be a certain race. You have to do this and that. You have to, these kids have more difficulty to navigate through society. That's why Jules's character is so brilliant. You sympathize with her. You don't have to be a part of that community. You understand what she's going through. And the manipulation that fucking piece of garbage Nate does to her in the first season, which is just disgusting. And they're trying to redeem him in season 2, which I don't know how I feel about that. We'll get to that, as you guys watch that. But they're trying to redeem his character after a first season. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, holy shit.
He cheats on fucking Apatow's character, like this beautiful girl, Lexi, who will do anything for him. She'll do drugs with him. She'll suck his dick anytime and you went over to this girl who you didn't know she was like, we were getting into and the reason why I'm tiptoeing, because I want people to watch this and actually experience. We get to this girl, Jules, who's very confused and having a hard time with her life and trying to navigate through her life. And he fucking manipulates her and treats her like garbage while at the same time treating his other girlfriend like garbage. And they're trying to redeem him in season 2, which
Wow.
I'm like,
holy shit.
No, he's a piece of garbage.
He's fucking
He's a
crazy.
fucking future fucking serial killer rapist. We're not redeeming him. Stop. So, like I said, I haven't gotten too far into the new season, but don't redeem him because there's people like that, especially teenagers. There's those jocks that don't give a fuck. That might be a little, sexually confused, as we see, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this guy's a piece of garbage and they're trying to redeem him as like God tier shit. So we'll see what happens, but that's great because and that makes me love that actor because he's like doing his job. He's
Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, Jacob.
He's fantastic.
Exactly. Like I love the whole cast. So Mike, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Cassie's boyfriend, Chris McKay, the black kid.
Yeah, McKay, yeah.
So that scene, do you think he got raped in that scene with the frat boys? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you think that was dry humping or do you think that was rape?
I straight up think he did too.
I think he got raped.
Yeah.
So did I, and that
Yeah.
was the debate that me and Zane were trying to have, and it got. He's like, no, he was just doing frat boy shit. No, he got raped.
What episode
He
is
was
this?
raped.
Oh, sorry.
That was
spoilers.
the whole. That was the
Yeah.
whole part of that episode that he got raped to
Yeah.
humiliate his ass.
Right.
And I
That
think-
was part of the frat. That what you're right, Zane. That was part of the frat boy hazing, but they raped him to do that.
Yeah.
And I think they did it with a
Let's
sex
not
toy.
pretend this bullshit. I
Right?
just wanted. So I'm just bringing that up because I thought it was just me because we had to do. I'm like, really? That wasn't rape. That was just hazing.
No,
Like,
that's not.
He,
I mean, they
he
did.
said it was dry humping. I think penetration
weren't they-
goes beyond dry humping.
Weren't they wearing sex toys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what they used.
And beyond that, penetration goes beyond dry humping. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
get out of here with
They
that.
penetrated his ass.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
He's
way
like, no, they were just hazing. And he's like, no, they were just hazing. So I'm just clarifying.
yeah, and the way after that when they leave, he's just there laying.
And he's
Right.
crying. He
Yeah.
cries.
Yeah, that
No,
reaction.
no grown ass man cries from hazing.
Exactly.
No one. No
Exactly.
Republican, no grown ass man cries from hazing. But you would cry from being raped. So
And
that's all
right,
I'm saying.
right in front of your girlfriend too.
Exactly,
Like, that's-
right in front of your girlfriend
That's on another
who
level.
also was very affected by it because she couldn't do shit about it.
Right. Right. It shows you that it rocked him to his core. Like,
Exactly.
and he even went to the bathroom and he was just crying. Like,
Exactly. He was crying.
It was traumatic. Yeah. I was like,
and
holy shit.
it furthers and I brought that up because it further brings to the point that this show presses your face into actual society and makes you have a critical look
Right.
of who you are.
Right.
It
Maybe you didn't think it was rape because you've done that before. Who knows?
it really, it really reminds me of this old 90s show called Skins. I'm not sure if you guys
God.
heard of
Don't
Skins.
do that. Don't put
No,
Euphoria in Skins.
No. I'm not talking
Stop
about the
it.
MTV one, Pinhead. I'm talking about the British one, the real one. Because they were
Okay,
talking.
you get a pass. Okay, I thought you were talking about the MTV.
No, not the
one.
MTV
Okay.
one. I'm talking about
You
the
get
British
a
one.
pass. I'll step back. Goodbye.
Yeah. Because I saw it on HBO before a long time ago, and it's like it was in the 90s, and it was British kids like in high school. Like it's more of like like a slice of life in the sense, but like everybody had dirt on them. It's not like Bayside High or anything like that, right? So for me, like when I saw it, I was like, "Holy
Which
shit!"
what the MTV one was.
No. The
Soft
MTV
core.
one sucked.
It was the MTV
was
one
horrible. It was horrible.
was soft core Bayside High. So
Yeah. It's
So
horrible.
sorry.
Like the one in made in England was way better. But this kind of reminds me of that in the sense that like it's more of that slice of life that I that I guess it's missing in our society in a sense that like again when you mentioned it, like it's like pushing your face into the dirt, into the reality of things, because like, some people have preconceived notions of what house parties are, or of what things happen in a frat party, or of things like this, like nothing really happens like that, and
well,
then
they
all of a
also have a
sudden,
misconception of drug use too, because
yeah. But
the
again,
Hollywood before this, the Hollywood ideology of drug use was so. Because, like I said, and this is, I'll admit, I've taken heavy amounts of drugs.
dude,
I have mental
like,
health problems, and I've taken heavy amounts of drugs for it. I know I can speak from experience. And previous shows have been absolutely fucking just the stereotypical brain dead dumb shit about
you're not the only one
drug and
that
like there's
you're not
there's
you're not
context
you weren't
in-
you're not the only one that experienced like drug use like that, in the sense that
I
like
know, could
I've fucking been to like a religious retreat high as a fucking kite, that I started it, and I was still high up until the very end, the last day. And I hate to admit it, but it happened.
Exactly. It's
Mike,
not
I'm not going to
anything
tell
to
you
be
when it
proud of.
was. Mike,
Holy shit! Was
I'm
I
not going to
there?
tell you when it was. I'm
Holy
not going to tell you
shit.
when it was. But like let's just say it's one of the greatest times that I played guitar.
Wow.
One of the best moments I've ever played guitar because I was in the zone.
Well, I'll tell you
So-
this, not to interrupt you. I know I'm allowed, but when you have sex with your own shower, then you know you're on a new plateau of drug use. So, and I've done that. So
No, let's just
that's a
say
new
like
plateau, and that's the level that Rue gets on.
yeah.
Like
Let's just say,
we
my-
have a scene in the 4th episode with Rue, and I don't want to ruin it, but a certain thing happens to her. We get that certain little touch, and it doesn't affect her because she's so fucking strung out on drugs. The pleasure is gone, and that's what I'm talking about. Where this show really fucking hits. It hits on reality.
Right.
Like the whiskey dick. If you drink too much, if you go be like you can fuck the girl all you want, but you ain't gonna get it up because of the drugs and the alcohol. You're not like this touches on actual fucking shit that actually is important.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for these kids who think they have no hope. And I understand where they're coming from. They like to self-destruct.
Yep.
Trust me, I understand because I did it throughout my entire 20s. In film school, the reason why people loved me so much is because I was so self-destructive.
Yeah.
So I understand what these kids are going through. And this show, like I said, makes especially people with kids, God, I don't envy you. Especially those that have kids that are going into their teenage years. You should be offended and scared because this presses the face, like I said, this presses your face into the dark muck of what potentially could be. We can all hope and pray that all of our kids turn out great. Like I hope my 2 cousins turn out great. And so far what I'm seeing, they're doing great. But we can't be guaranteed that. There's a chance our kid might be a degenerate drug addict fuck because of society. And this show breaks down not just the use of drug use, but it breaks down the fucking ideals behind that. Society doesn't care about mental health and drug use as long as they're making money off of it. And that's the subtext of Euphoria. It's called Euphoria for a reason. We know the definition of euphoria. So that's the reason why it is appropriately titled. And that's where I'll leave it at that, because I love this show because it actually makes me, and I will even admit to myself right here, it makes me look at what I used to be. Because I used to be Rue. When I was a young kid, especially in my fucking 19, 20, 21 years, I was rotten like Rue. So I understand what she's going through. The only difference is Rue actually has a mother who cares about her and a sister that would die for her. That's the only difference. So,
yeah. And also a big fuck you to Dare, because that program
Dare's
never,
a dumbass company that's always been dumbass.
Dare never works. It will never work.
Quite frankly, I'll be 100% honest, not to interrupt you, but I'll be 100% honest. Dare is the reason why I started using drugs when I was a kid. So good job,
100%,
Dare. Good job.
100%, because
I will
all the
100% admit that.
all the fucking kids that was telling me not to do drugs, and people that were like looking, like looking down on people who did drugs when I was in school. You know what? 100% of them fucking did drugs, and I know it
Exactly.
because I've been to all of their fucking house parties, and I know every single one of those fuckers.
Exactly. And not
So
only that, when the white cops would come with their like John Wayne belt buckle reaching up to lecture us about drugs, and it's like,
yeah,
you ain't
no,
one of us. We're against you. Like, you're trying to throw us in jail for bullshit reasons that you guys know you do the same shit yourself. Like, why should we adhere to guidelines of rules that you guys don't follow yourself?
yeah.
There is one of the, if you actually do critical research, especially now that we have Google and all this shit, if you do actual research into Dare, they are one of the most corrupt, dirty, fucking anti-drug establishments in the history of man. They're disgusting.
Yep.
They are solely responsible. Like, this is the irony. Dare is solely responsible, like I've admitted, for sending a higher percentage of kids on drugs than they were to prevent it.
Yep.
Dare's garbage, so fuck Dare. And I don't want to hear
Yep. Fuck them.
anything from Dare or any of the mothers that don't watch this shit. Watch it. Sit down with your kids, and then if you still hate it, that's fine. But sit down and watch 2 episodes and then come back to me and bring that same energy.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you won't. I guarantee you won't. I guarantee you'll be fucking terrified for your children. I guarantee it. Because this is a dark world out here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's only got even more darker with, the COVID timeline. So buckle up, because your children are next. And I'll leave it at that. Euphoria. Can't believe I'm saying this, but 10 out of 10. This series is a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
So I did a quick Google on Dare, and it says one of the question was, does the Dare program still exist? And then it says here, the Dare program lost funding in 1998 and has since been replaced by the Keeping It Real program, KIR. This program is more interactive based on the criticism that Dare workshops just consisted of police officers standing up and talking.
So I heard of that. So as a sidebar, I have a video for you, Mike, and anybody, Jester, anybody who's, I actually have a video on that same topic that goes very, very in depth in that. So let me look it up and I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah.
Because it goes very, very in depth how they failed, and I didn't know what the actual company name was, but they evolved into another company. But thank you.
And they try to market it like so that they'll be like hip to the kids and shit like that, but it doesn't work.
Right.
Again, like the best thing, the best way for you to make sure that your kids or that kids stop doing drugs is having a conversation with them. That's it. Like my dad, right? Like my dad, when he told me like, oh, don't be doing drugs. Like, why? Have you done drugs before, Dad? And he was like, no. Okay, so how can you tell me not to do drugs? Like, don't tell me that. You haven't experienced it. But then, like, I had to experience it myself because I'm thick-headed like that. So if my kid ends up like, and I tell him don't do drugs, and then I tell them like you're gonna waste all of your money on these stupid ass things that they'll give you a quick relief in life, and in the long run, it's for you, it's not a good thing. So just fucking grow up. That's what I'm gonna tell them.
Well, but see, that's how my grandpa was. Like, he saw that I was like having a hard time with drugs, coming at it again, and like he's like, Like he pulled me out. He's like, boy, you're gonna take karate. That's what we're doing.
Right?
Like he forced me. Like I didn't even. I'm like, no, fuck that. He's like, no,
No, you're gonna
you're
take karate.
taking karate, or I'll fuck your ass up.
Yep.
So I took karate, and it fucking disciplined me. It's why I'm passionate about martial arts and really getting this shit correct, because it disciplines you. If you get that, especially if you get that fucking good sensei that I had that navigates through your fucked up problems as a person while trying to teach you karate, as Mike always tells me, chef's kiss. It is a true chef's kiss, because it disciplines you, it stops you from doing this shit, and it actually gives you a basis of ethics and morals. It's the reason beyond why I, as I've discussed on the podcast, why I was attacked. It's a reason why I have a problem with racism, bigotry, it's a problem because in karate, you're taught a basic form of fundamentals and ethics, and that all this shit, racism, all this shit, molesting children, whatever, it's all against the ethics of karate. So that's how that happened. Euphoria is amazing. We'll leave off with that.
Yeah, I've definitely.
Fuck Zendaya, you're great. I love you, but we need to give other people a little bit more credit too, because Zendaya, you're great, but you're not the best. Sorry, contrary to popular belief, your character is not the best on the show. So.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
If you want to know which weekend it was, let me know.
Oh God.
Last weekend.
Okay.
Because it is wicked. It's very wicked. So.
Alrighty. Okay. So I'm definitely gonna have to catch up to season 2 of Euphoria.
Yes, you do.
All right, moving on to Pam and Tommy. The show debuted on Hulu. They dropped the first 3 episodes, and then we're going to be getting 1 episode a week. So I think every Tuesday.
So I will say this right now. I'm gonna 100% step out of this because I have not watched this. I don't want to know anything.
I'm not gonna spoil it. I don't have to spoil it.
I know, but I'm not. I won't be in this conversation because I have nothing. I'll give a sidebar, knowing what I know about this on the side, but I'm stepping out. Good night.
Okay. All right, Jester, did you get to see it?
What did I see?
Pam and Tommy?
No, that's on my list of go to because you recommended it to me on Friday. So no, I have not seen it yet. But so I can always get out because I don't want it spoiled.
Yeah, no.
No, you're good. You're good. I saw the original video, so I have.
Okay. But I'm talking about
And I was there when.
As did I. That's why I'm stepping out. Sorry.
And that's what I'm saying. Everyone saw that original video.
I was there when I saw the original video. I was there when the fucking story happened. I was there when all the drama happens. I honestly, when I first saw this coming up and it's gonna be a show and Seth Rogen was gonna be in it and all that stuff, and I'm like, I mean, I know already the gist and the jizz of this of this fucking dilemma or drama or whatever. So I think I'm done. I don't want to watch it anymore. So I volunteered myself, and
I'm sorry not to interrupt. Please, can we make a T-shirt And a
The
hashtag
gist-
out for the gist and the jizz. Like, that's fantastic.
Just get to the gist and the jizz of it. Damn it.
That's next level greatness. The gist and the
The gist and
jizz.
the jizz of things of the matter. You know, like again, you know, when I saw the original video, fucking Tommy Lee, god damn it, I have to salute you, sir. I've never seen a more handsome penis fucking driving a boat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you know, this is the beginning of the sex tape things, right? Because it started with, I'm not sure if it started with Pam Anderson, but then it became, it got more notoriety because again after Pam, I believe it was Paris Hilton, and then after Paris it was Kim Kardashian, if I'm not mistaken. So,
But it wasn't the first Hollywood sex tape.
oh no, I don't think
it was the first big one. It's the one that blew it up.
Yeah, because like she was A-lister. She was an A-lister. She was fucking awesome. She was, she was amazing in Baywatch and everything. And then Tommy Lee was like, 80s rock god and everything. And the news was they were, they got fucking married quickly in Cabo or something, some bullshit, some Mexico city or whatever. And then this was their adventures afterwards. So, so I was like,
okay. So the first 3 episodes, without spoiling anything, it's basically a 90s time capsule.
yeah.
Because the internet does exist, but the internet is still in its early stages. People are using it, but not, of course, in the way that we do now. So this was back in, 95, I think? This is around 1995, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the show has 8 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So they dropped 3 episodes, and on the Google search, the description of the show is Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's honeymoon sex tape is stolen and leaked to the public. So, of course, it's got Lily James as Pamela Anderson, Sebastian Stan as Tommy Lee, Seth Rogen as Rand Gauthier, Nick Offerman as Uncle Milty, and Taylor Schilling as Erica Gauthier. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Anyway, there's other cast members as well, but those are the big players. I binged the first 3 episodes. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Lily James as Pam Anderson is fantastic. When I first saw the trailer, it looked like not just look, but it was Pam. It's Pam Anderson when you watch the show. Like for me, like that's how I remember her. Like, and then Sebastian Stan as Tommy Lee is fantastic. Seth Rogen, I really like. I've always liked, but when he's introduced here, I think they do a good job of introducing his character and making you getting you on his side on why everything goes down. I mean, it's no spoiler like what he plans to do with Nick Offerman, but yeah. So I would highly recommend it. It's a great time capsule on the 90s because you got the music, the hairstyle, the clothing, and just the technology that was available then. It's really fascinating to look at what how the 90s were, and looking back now, like how many years that's been, and the popularity. Because I remember watching, tuning in Baywatch, because not for anyone else, but for Pamela Anderson, who was the biggest draw. And I remember her sister. What was her sister's name? Summer.
Yep, Summer.
Yeah, and Pam Anderson's character was C.J. Parker.
C.J. Parker, yeah.
Yeah, Yasmin Bleeth was her sister. No, was it her sister? No, Nicole Eggert was her sister.
Nicole Eggert, the one with the no tits.
Okay, but yeah, I do remember Yasmin Bleeth as well. And then Carmen Electra, I think, didn't she replace? Or with Pam Anderson? Yeah.
Yeah.
But she wasn't. I mean, yeah, she was big, but not Pam Anderson big at that time.
Let's just be perfectly clear here. It was kind of cool that Baywatch was there, and fucking David Hasselhoff was like running it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But Baywatch did not explode until Pamela Anderson showed up. So the first few episodes, like she wasn't a part of it, and then up until like when she became the part of the main cast, that's when Baywatch got like notoriety.
Right.
Like the slow-mo running and all that bullshit.
So I'm looking at Baywatch. There was 11 seasons, and it started in 1989.
Yep.
That blows my mind because I always thought it just started like in the 90s, but I guess it's always been there. Like
she was the original Tool girl in Tool Time, and whatchamacallit, in Tim what's his name? What's the name of that show?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, yeah.
Okay.
Pam
Home
Anderson
Improvement?
was, Home Improvement. Yeah, she was the original one, if I'm not mistaken. The original Tool girl. So.
Okay.
And then after a season or two, I think, then she moved to Baywatch, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting. Yeah. So anyway, I recommend checking it out. I'm curious to see what you guys think of it. And then I know Jester mentioned that Pam Anderson herself did not approve of this show.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah, and I heard. So I don't know if that's like actually fact. I just know that that's been the rumor going around. So that's why I say that.
Okay. So
I don't. It's just like a big embarrassing fucking part of her history and shit.
No, I'll Google it. You know what? I'll Google it right now. I'll actually get fact for once. Here, let's see.
Yeah, so I have here e-news, eonline.com. This is posted a few days ago. How Pamela Anderson really feels about shocking Pam and Tommy series. So it says here, let's see. Quote, Pam will never watch the Pam and Tommy Hulu series, end quote, a source told E! News. Well, the burglary was a living nightmare. This burglary is the only thing in her life she would erase from her life. It haunts her to this day, end quote. The source continued, quote, it was a violation having this tape taken. This was a very traumatic time in her life, and it's shocking that they are recreating it.
Yep.
Yeah, I can only imagine how that feels.
Right.
Messed up.
So I'm curious.
I don't know if you guys saw the first. No, go ahead, Mike.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say something.
Mike, go ahead.
So now
go ahead.
So based on the show, I'm now curious on how accurate the events are in this show, because the way they make it look, without spoiling anything, they justify, what was done, of course, by Seth Rogen. But the thing is, what he does is, I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, I'm not going to say too much. So, but
I will say this. Baywatch didn't blow up until David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson joined. In the first season of Baywatch, contrary to a lot of people's popular belief, there was no David Hasselhoff, not in the role he was in. Michael Newman was the huge role in that part, and he got dropped off the face of the earth, and then David Hasselhoff came in and took over. It blew up. And then when Pamela came in, it hit the fucking stratosphere. And that's why we have the reason why we have, Carmen Electra, Tracy Bingham, all those girls that came in and did what they did. The girls that you mentioned. They all came in because of Hoff and Anderson. So let's just so we clarify that, because there was a lot of people that came in after Pamela Anderson's tenure, and they were very amazing, cosmetically, and they were overshadowed because of the Pamela Anderson sex tape. So
here's what they say
Karen
about
Nolan.
how accurate the story is. I guess it's not only based on the true story of how Pam and Tommy's sex tape was stolen, but it also takes the bulk of its research from places like Amanda Chicago Lewis's 2014 in-depth Rolling Stone feature on the event. And not only that, but Tommy Lee's own autobiography.
Yep.
That's where they get all the information.
Okay. So just
pretty close.
Yeah. Check out the 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's opening up a very fucking closed wound, and just stabbing it again. That's probably what Pam how Pam feels about it.
Yeah, all for entertainment, all over again. Just messed up.
But again, I don't know. I don't know if you guys. It's very traumatic.
At the end of the day, not to interrupt you, Kuya, but Pam should be far more embarrassed that she got fucking hepatitis from Kid Rock than she had a sex tape with fucking Tommy Lee.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's get that documentary, Kid Rock, how I gave Pam Anderson hepatitis. See,
All right.
It's probably from fucking cattle.
So yeah, check out the episode. I'm curious to see what you guys think.
And I will say this: I will have my full review next week on this episode. So
cool. So by then we'll have the 4th episode.
Yep. So I'm gonna binge the first, because that'll be past my 3 strikes. I'll give my opinion next week on the next episode. So there you go.
Alrighty. So Pinhead brought this up.
Did I?
No.
I'm scared now.
The next story.
I'm scared now.
Well, remember, Kuya shared it. I saw this thing on the internet, on social media, and I was like, okay, interesting. But let's see what happens. Kuya shared it on a thread. So Peter Dinklage, of course, came out and said against Disney about the 7 Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs movie that they're making, and Peter Dinklage basically came out and said, like, have I not done enough for the community, and that they're still doing it. Like, I'm trying to look for an exact quote. Hold on. Let's see. I can't find an exact quote.
By the way, I know where you're going with this, and just I know what quote you're saying. He was talking about, didn't I do enough for this community, standing on my soapbox? Hornswoggle, as we're going into this, the Dylan, he did it way before you did. So
yeah, okay.
There you go.
So this is from NPR. Disney defends its Snow White remake after. Oh, okay, so this is criticism. This is Disney's response to Peter Dinklage. So hold on. The live action. So Disney announced that they're making a live action Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs movie, as what they've been doing with a lot of their classic films, animated classic films. They've been remaking it into live action versions. They announced in June 2021 that they had cast West Side Story breakout star Rachel Ziegler as the titular character in a forthcoming remake of the 1937 film, which was Disney's first animated feature and a major box office success. The live-action version will be directed by Mark Webb, best known for the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, and feature Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen. Disney previously said that the production would start in 2022. Peter Dinklage, pushed back against the remake in an episode of the What the F with Mark Maron podcast that aired on Monday. So the Emmy-winning Game of Thrones star, who has a form of dwarfism called achondroplasia, said he was, quote, taken aback by the studio's celebration of casting a Latina lead, even as it revisits a story with problematic representation of dwarfs. Quote, take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me, end quote. He said, about an hour into the 80-minute episode, quote, you're progressive in one way and you're still making that fucking backwards story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? End quote. Dinklage stressed that he meant, quote, literally no offense to anyone, and sent, quote, all love and respect to the actress and to the people who thought they were doing the right thing. But his frustration was palpable. Quote, have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? He continued, I guess I'm not loud enough. He added that he would enthusiastically support a more sensitive retelling of the 85-year-old film with a, quote, cool progressive spin on it, but wasn't otherwise convinced. Dinklage's comments picked up steam online, and Disney responded to his concerns in a statement reported by Variety and other outlets on Tuesday. Quote, to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community, a spokesperson said. We look, quote, we look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. Dinklage said on the podcast that he was not affiliated with any particular group and has expressed discomfort at the thought of speaking on behalf of other people his size in previous interviews, telling New York Times Magazine in 2012 that, quote, every person my size has a different life, a different history. Okay, so what I'm going to bring up is what Pinhead shared, which I thought was interesting. So this is from the dailymail.com. And this is from, this is written by, this is from Dylan Postel.
Yep.
He's a professional wrestler, actor, and author who performed in the WWE under the ring name Hornswoggle. So the title is Who Died and Made Peter Dinklage the King of Dwarfs? Dylan Postel says the Hollywood star doesn't speak for him or the countless other dwarf actors who would love to star in Snow White and follow their dreams in Hollywood. So he says here, did he write? He wrote this, didn't he?
Yeah, this was
Okay.
a direct quote from him.
Okay, so this entire piece was written
This
by.
is all on him.
Okay,
No,
so Dylan
whether
himself.
good or bad, this is all on him.
Okay, so he wrote this. It says, you got some good PR. Disney got a pass. America moved on to the next politically correct outrage, and little people lost their jobs. Take a bow, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Dinklage was trying to be woke and progressive when he called out Disney for remaking Snow White during an episode of Mark Maron's podcast. In this day and age, if you want to be successful in Hollywood, that has to be a key part of your message. Plus, we're all stuck at home and bored. Celebrities are scrolling through social media looking for someone or something to cancel. Unfortunately, this is the society we live in. Cancel culture has hit its peak. Dinklage said he has a problem with the way Snow White, a classic cherished fairy tale, portrays dwarfs. Well, I don't have a problem with Snow White. What I do have a problem with is Dinklage putting himself on a pedestal and looking down on jobs that countless dwarfs in the entertainment industry would love to fill. So he goes on, 7 little people will now be out of a job. Honestly, who died and made Peter Dinklage King of the Dwarfs? It pisses me off. Now, Disney says they're taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. Really, who in the dwarfism community? I would have told them to fill each one of those jobs with a dwarf actor. And he puts it in parentheses. Hey, Disney, call me. I will take every role that you have. And parentheses. Dinklage is not the spokesperson for little people, and to believe that one person represents an entire community is ridiculous. This cancel culture is not just a problem for little people, it's a problem for our whole society. As soon as someone throws a woke red flag, companies immediately stop what they're doing instead of taking anyone else's feelings into consideration. There must be a limit to this craziness. This is no way to live. We cannot allow one person's opinion to change all our lives at the drop of a hat. What is so wrong with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs anyway? Dinklage called it a backward story about 7 dwarfs living in a cave. Wrong. The dwarfs live in a cottage, they work for a living in a mine, and they had a lot of gems. For a fairy tale story, these guys are doing pretty well. They were wealthy. Plus, they take Snow White into their home when she's in trouble. And each dwarf has his own personality. The story doesn't portray all dwarfs as the same, but apparently, according to Hollywood, all dwarfs are the same and Dinklage speaks for everyone. I want to know who Disney is talking to. Did they call the Little People of America Association? Did they speak to average height people? I know that they didn't call me. All I ever wanted to be in life was a professional wrestler. It was my dream from when I was a kid, but I am not that the WWE is usually looking for. I'm not 6 feet 6 inches tall. I don't weigh 250 pounds. I'm not the spotlight hire. I am different. But in 2006, WWE was looking for a dwarf to play a leprechaun as a sidekick to fit Finlay. I got the job. From 2006 to 2016, I performed every week on a TV broadcast viewed worldwide under the ring name Hornswoggle. I lived my dream. When the movie The Greatest Showman was cast, I was excited because I knew that there would be roles for little people. I can't play Spider-Man or Batman. I can't play P.T. Barnum. I'm not Hugh Jackman, but I could land a spot in a major motion picture by playing a specialty role on the cast. It's not demeaning or degrading to take a role that is specifically made for a little person, but that's exactly what Dinklage and Disney want to get rid of. Roles for dwarves are already few and far between, and the competition for them is fierce. So there's way more, but I think that's a good gist of it.
Wow.
So when Pinhead mentioned that to me, I knew that now we could talk about it because we got to hear from Dinklage and now we got to hear from someone else in the same community. And it's pretty obvious Dinklage is doing well for himself after Game of Thrones. He won an Emmy, right? Didn't he win an Emmy?
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
And from then on,
Golden Globe, didn't he?
Yep.
Golden Globe
too. Yep.
So, I mean, it's safe to say Game of
He's
Thrones.
not hurting.
Yeah,
Right.
Game of Thrones filled his pockets, lined his nice mantle with some trophies, and now he gets to even be more picky, and he gets to call the shots.
Dictate, the little people community,
Right.
for lack of a better term. Like now he's the god of the dwarf community.
No, he's not. He's
Well,
just
that's
another.
what Dylan was talking about in this article. He's not. He doesn't speak for Hornswoggle and the rest.
Yeah.
That's the point.
And his quote when he says, "Have I not done enough for the community?"
Oh,
I told
on his soapbox.
I told Pinhead, unless he started a production company that focused on movies or TV series and content that spotlighted and gave roles to people in that community, then he can rightfully say that he's done something to advance and give jobs to people who may not easily get a job like he did. I'm sure he didn't easily get the job. He had to audition for Game of Thrones, but he put in the work, and now he's a big star. He's an even bigger star than he was before.
He has a platform now.
Right.
Before he didn't. Everybody knows who this guy is. My grandmother knows who this fucking dude is. She used to love Game of Thrones, and one of her favorite characters was Tyrion.
Right.
His character. You have a huge platform and you're neglecting it by how are you? My question is this: how are you proving your point by completely constructing and dissecting your own community and making sure they get no more jobs? That's fucking insanity. If Peter truly believes in that, then he should be thrown in the nut hut because that's fucking insane.
You know, I remember listening to a podcast about an animator that came from Disney and went to Netflix, and he talked about how when he was there was a specific group of people that worked at Disney that like watched all the drawings, like they reviewed everything. And it had to be like, you had to be super careful, make sure there's no accidental penises anywhere, no references of dwarves
yeah,
or
there's
anything
no
like
accidental
that.
penises. Okay.
So like no mentions of dwarves or anything like that, period. So like when Disney says that they're talking to that community and they say, well, you know, we're taking a different approach, that just tells me that they're just going to use, you know, your typical actor to fill those roles, and they're not even going to mention that there's probably dwarves or anything like that in the Snow White story at all. And like Dylan was saying, now those 7 jobs are not going to be filled by his community, and it's already hard for them to find jobs, and now Dinklage has made it harder.
Exactly.
It's just messed up, man.
Exactly.
No,
And to further, before Kuya goes, to further expand on Jester's point, he's right. It's fucked up. Because beyond the community, we can have very different interpretations of Snow White. Mike, I sent you that Rammstein video of their interpretation of Snow White.
Right.
You can still have dwarf people in that interpretation without offending people.
Right. Right.
Still give them jobs which they 100% deserve, and still make a movie. Why are we doing this? Like, this is fucking nonsense. Sorry, Kuya. There you go. Like, there's many interpretations you could do of this.
My issue is not with Peter Dinklage and all that stuff. He earned the right to say something about that because he did struggle in his career to be recognized as an actor, not a dwarf actor. Right now, his next movie is, I believe, Cyrano, the Bergerac. Like, I know he's playing Cyrano.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
which he'll make a lot of money for. Let's not pretend.
Yeah. I know. I mean, he like for me, he earned the right to say something regarding this. Was he in the right? No, he was not. Was he in the wrong to do that? My point is, Disney does not need to make a live action Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The animated classic is perfect as it is. It doesn't need anything anymore. They fucked up with the Lion King. They fucked up with the other live action adaptations. They need to stop. They're just rehashing and rebooting all of these things because they have like the money to come in, and they know that the people will just like eat it up like it was like, you know, pancakes in the morning. So if, you know, Dylan was absolutely correct, like, you know, you're destroying the community if they do a woke representation of this shit. So if it's Seven Dwarfs, and Seven Dwarfs, hire the Seven Dwarfs. I want to see fucking Hornswoggle to be bashful. Like, I think he'd be perfect. I think he'd be perfect to be bashful.
I want him to be grumpy, man. Come
on. Like, no. Grumpy's gonna be fucking what's his name from Willow in Star Wars.
No, it's not gonna be fucking
Warwick Davis.
It's not gonna be Warwick Davis.
He would be perfect, dude. It would be the anti shit, man. Come on.
No, because Warwick Davis needs to make another Leprechaun film that is worth a damn. A high budget Leprechaun movie.
No, but
this is Disney and their Snow White bullshit.
You know, and then again, like I don't see the necessity of having a live adaptation of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. If they hire Seven Dwarfs and they want to do representation, hey, how about the Seven Dwarfs instead of all dudes? How about like 3 or 4 of them are women? I'm just saying, right?
That's fine.
Doc could be the leader, and she can she can be there's female doctors everywhere, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
I don't
possible.
know.
By the way, I have met Warwick Davis, and he was very, very cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. And I've met Warwick
and
Davis.
then he'd be
He's
perfect as
fucking
Grumpy.
awesome. I met him at a horror convention. He's one of the greatest, most down to earth, fucking awesome people you'll ever meet.
He's a legend.
Willow
I will counter your argument, however, Kuya, with you're right. Peter Dinklage does have a right. He struggled. He went through it.
Yep.
He does not have a right to speak for the other people like Dylan.
That's why I said he was in the wrong for doing that.
That's great, but he doesn't have the right to speak for the rest of the dwarf community whatsoever. And it still does not neglect or take away from the fact, he took a paycheck to sell out his own community. They paved, as the old song goes, they paved paradise to put up a parking lot. Ooh, wop, wop, wop. And that's what Peter Dinklage did. He paved paradise to put up a fucking glorified parking lot so he can make the money off of it. He doesn't care about the community that he lives in. He cares about the bottom dollar, the Hollywood bottom dollar. And that's why I agree with Static X. Beyond all, kill your idols. Let them die. Fuck Hollywood celebrities. They're garbage.
Yeah, his quotes in that, and I know he was venting, but it was very self-centered. So I'm like, bro.
It was very self-centered, and it was very self-serving as well.
Right, and that's why it's fascinating to read that piece from Dylan, because he's talking about like, hey, good for you. You got your fat check and you're living, for Dinklage. But anyone who wants to make it big would kill to be in a Disney movie. I mean, let's face it. What's the biggest thing right now, aside from, being in a Disney movie for other up and coming actors, to make it into a Marvel movie? That's the next, because they know that once they can make it into a Marvel movie, it opens even more doors for them, and they can get other roles. It may not necessarily be the dream or but who wouldn't want to be a superhero? And then that'll lead to something else. I mean, you look at Simu Liu. Simu Liu tweeted Disney and said like, hey, when are we going to talk about Shang-Chi? And he actually sent that tweet. And years later, he's now Shang-Chi. And yes, he's already an established actor, but now being Shang-Chi and being in that film and being in a part of the Marvel universe has further, expanded his career. And it'll, the fact that you're in with the Marvel, just talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and not just one movie, now that you're a character in this ongoing universe, it'll lead to so much more paychecks that, you won't have to worry about for other up and coming actors. They're always concerned about booking that next job, for those who aren't in a series or who aren't, if they're in a movie and they're just have a small, they're nobody, how much are they making? Just barely enough to make the rent. So,
well, if you're a little white girl with an NFT, you'll make billions.
Oh, I guess now that you mentioned it, I guess we should bring that up. All your
no, we don't need to bring that basic bitch up.
Well, you brought it. Oh boy, Captain Marvel. Oh boy, just wait till the Captain Marvel NFT.
Well, all our fans are crying about it. Like they're I expected better from you than this, Brie. You should know better that NFTs affect the environment, and you're shut the fuck up.
She actually said that?
Her fans are imploding because, she dared to do an NFT and it's against the environment. And in Uzbekistan, and like we're really stretching the shit out. So her own fans are literally canceling her. It's not the conservative white boys that everybody. Her own fans are now like, goodbye, bitch. You should have known better. Known better for what? Like,
So a new feature for those who are unaware, a new feature on Twitter, or if I'm not mistaken, Twitter Blue, which you can, that is premium, I guess. You can now, if you're an owner of, if you're a cool kid and you're an owner of any form of an NFT, you can now bling your Twitter profile picture with your NFT. So Brie Larson tweeted about her NFT. And for those that may not be familiar with NFTs, there's a very mixed audience. People are very mixed about it. There are, and I see like, yeah, it's the next big thing. It's cool. You buy it with cryptocurrency. But then the common joke is, I can just take a screenshot and I can own that NFT. You don't really own it, but whoever owns it on the blockchain, right? So anyway, Brie Larson tweeted, hashtag, this is a day ago, hashtag new profile pic, got a Flower Girls NFT by Varvara Alay. I guess that's the artist, right? So a lot of the NFTs are made by artists, and then when they get to sell it, especially when a celebrity buys it, they usually buy it with cryptocurrency. And when whatever cryptocurrency is accepted, when you convert it to the dollar amount, it's so-and-so amount of dollars, right? Whatever. So a lot of her fans replied, and a lot of them are saying, so this one is from Alicia Grauso. OMG, not you too. This is her replying to Brie Larson. OMG, not you too. I don't know how many celebs need to hear this, but takes deep breath. NFTs and crypto are horrendously bad for the environment, worse than the entire carbon footprint of some countries. So bad it's tearing Kazakhstan apart in civil war. Please, please stop. That's the tweet. And then someone even tweeted, bye, Brie. Plain and simple, bye, Brie. And then someone tweeted, Brie, I'm sorry, but with all due respect, and then there was a screenshot or a different text. NFTs are, in bullet points, a pyramid scheme used for money laundering, used to steal artwork from others, not a true way of owning artwork, a passing fad, bad for the environment.
What?
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have no idea how it could be bad for the environment. That's. I mean, the other things that they said is plausible, right? It could be a Ponzi scheme. It could be whatever. It could be some bullshit, whatever. But it's not bad for the environment. Come on.
Okay, so let's with a quick Google. Let's find out the climate controversy swirling around NFTs. So this is from TheVerge.com, because I was also curious. How bad is it for the environment? So there's a case for more sustainable crypto art, but it's hotly contested. So it says here, famed auction house Christie's just sold its first purely digital piece of art for a whopping $69 million. For that price, the buyer got a digital file of a collage of 5,000 images and a complex legacy of greenhouse gas emissions. Individual pieces of crypto art, non-fungible tokens, aka NFTs, are at least partially responsible for the millions of tons of planet-heating carbon dioxide emissions generated by the cryptocurrencies used to buy and sell them. Some artists, including those who have already benefited from the craze, think it's a problem that can be easily solved. Others think the proposed solutions are a pipe dream. ArtStation, an online marketplace for digital artists, canceled its plans to launch a platform for NFTs within hours after getting a lot of backlash from people who think dealing in crypto art is environmentally unethical. Artists called NFTs an, quote, ecological nightmare pyramid scheme, and ArtStation's plan to offset emissions a scam on Twitter. So digital artist Mike Winkleman, who goes by the name Beeple, is a believer in a more sustainable future for NFTs. His work every day, the first 5,000 days, was the one that got the eye-popping $69 million bid at Christie's. So now I'm trying to see where exactly does it break down how is it bad? So I'm assuming, just based from what I read from the 5,000 images, because it's all digital and it's being housed. So is it because it's constantly running on a server or something?
No, if you pay with cryptocurrency, it takes like a massive amount of like of energy, electric, like whatever, like electricity, thermal, whatever, fucking
Well, not
shit
only
that
that,
they
but
use.
isn't it mining the materials to get the
Right.
the hard drives to mine the cryptocurrency and all that stuff, which is like, selling like crazy right now. And I could see how that could be her argument or whatever. But to go that hard on it and not understand that it most likely is going to be the future, I think is a little ignorant.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. I mean, you could believe whatever you want to believe and do your thing, but I don't know.
Cow farts are fucking more dangerous to the environment
Oh
than,
my
than NFT. Right?
Yeah,
Because
okay.
it's methane. It's fucking
Right.
methane. That's bad for the air, right?
Right.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I know. Yeah, I did hear. Yeah, the mining of cryptocurrency is also, it takes a lot. So
I
but that's and then you had a lot of fans also tweeting at Brie Larson. One of them, who I know is a huge Snyder fan, she just basically tweeted and said, "I can't keep defending you, Brie, because this is not just the only thing. There's a bunch of other things that Brie Larson tweeted or
I hate her fucking movie, but Brie can do whatever the fuck she wants with the money that she made.
Hey,
Like I like if she wants to fucking burn it all and set 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 her house on fire or whatever. That's she has every right to do that shit. So if people are telling her don't do NFTs or whatever, whatever, all that shit, fucking do it. You have the money to pay for the artist to do the NFT, then God damn it, then post it up.
Yeah, and then someone tweeted and replied, "Ratioed by Thanos Kirby,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
who hates NFTs."
I mean, honestly, NFTs I think will be the future because of the code that basically states that it is the original, and using the codes like that to make sure that we know what is the original, especially like we were just talking about Luke's episode with the deep fakes. Like we'll be able to have a code eventually to tell us what is the original and then what is the deep fake, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is just the start of it, and so I don't know. My opinion is honestly unimportant on this whole subject. I just think that
So you
she's
back
coming
the
on a
Brie.
little.
You back the Brie.
No, I just think she's being very aggressive over honestly, in my opinion, really nothing. And do I think she deserves the hate she's getting? No, I don't. That's just her opinion. She's allowed to have that.
Right.
But no, I don't back her.
She can do whatever that's her money.
Yeah, you do you.
Right, right.
That's the whole thing.
If I have money and then Mike says, you know what, Kuya, you need to invest in Funko Pops and shit because that's the future. I'm gonna tell Mike, like, Mike, I love you, but no, I'm not. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, like, with my money, with what I want to do with my money.
Exactly. So but my thing is,
and then 10 hours later, I'm gonna have like a handful of Funko Pops in my hand because fucking Mike is like very convincing and shit.
Well, I was gonna say now that you bring it up,
just like that one night. Oh yeah.
Now that you bring it up, if you have, oh yeah, I remember that night in 2005 at Walmart for Revenge of the Sith midnight.
I fucking hate you for that. I still hate you for that, but I love you.
If you have any family or friends in Arizona who are looking for a job, Funko will be transitioning one of their warehouses there. So they are hiring. So I'd love to have a hookup in the warehouse.
Hey, I might apply just for fuck's sake. So that like Mike would be like extra nice to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, so what's the next doll? What's the next doll? I'm like, we're only gonna make 50 of these, Mike. So buy this shit.
Yeah.
That's the kind of hookup that you want, right? Inside trading. That's what they.
Not
Is that what it
necessarily
is?
inside trading, because that would be illegal.
No, it's not. Not for Funko.
And I would.
We're not.
Well,
We're
yeah,
not
it
talking
is.
about stocks here.
I wouldn't want to put anyone's job at risk.
Whatever, dude. It's just a job. So
yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have.
yeah. So
I will
wanted-
say this, quite frankly, for you, Bree, I love you, girl. I defend you. You can call me the N-word as long as I can lick your pussy a couple of times because you got great arms and great abs. Like keep doing those pull-ups, and keep doing those ab work routines. You can call me the N-word. I'll lick your pussy. We can get past the NFT. So
it's kind of
and
sad.
trust me, Captain Karen, you will be satisfied. You will not ask for the manager. I promise you that.
It's kind of
You
sad.
will be dead.
Pinhead. It's kind of sad that Tom Holland has a better ass than fucking Captain Karen. You know what I mean?
Who?
Well, have you seen her workout videos?
Tom Holland.
No, no.
Nah, trust
Her
me.
ass. No, you're wrong. Her workout videos. Check them out because she goes beyond. She goes. You want to talk about space above and beyond? This bitch.
It's the critique that what happened to her in
Tom
the
Holland's
Captain
a
Marvel movie.
hoe compared to fucking Brie Larson because this bitch puts in that fucking CrossFit work. That's why I said you can call me the N-word, baby. I'm just gonna lick it a couple of times and send you out the door. I'll give you Das boot. I'll give you your little blonde white ass Das boot out the door after I'm done. So I love me some Brie Larson. That's my new favorite. Like it's between Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga's on the top tier. Brie Larson's neck and neck.
So you like Captain Marvel now?
Hell yeah, I love it.
No, the movie. I'm talking about the movie.
Yes. As long as I can see her naked. In my what do you young kids call it? The vision board or whatever.
In the vision
board.
Yeah, I'll just
vision board. Yeah, vision board.
There's only one woman that surpasses
like Brie Larson nude.
There's only one woman that surpasses Brie now. It's now Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is God tier. Brie Larson is like kind of second above. So congratulations, Brie. We're coming for your ass.
Alrighty. Well, that wraps up the show. Unless anyone has anything else.
Oh, Jester, you mentioned that you liked Wind River.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that movie was something
Isn't it
else.
awesome? It's awesome,
yeah. I absolutely loved it. It was, man, what a sleeper, man. No one talked about that one.
And I saw it like a couple of years ago, so it was cool.
Yeah, it was excellent, man. I loved it, and that little piece of information at the end too. I was very very interesting. I did not know that. But
True.
yeah, no, it was a well told story, and I enjoyed it. I encourage those to.
It's still on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix and Hulu too. I think I could be wrong, but I think for sure it's on Netflix right now.
Yeah, it's one of my. It stars Hawkeye and fucking Scarlet Witch. So.
And Punisher too. You got Bernthal
and Punisher, and Punisher.
Yep, it was good cast, good story. Crazy though.
Just to let you guys know, I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit because Jester and fucking Kuya actually agreed for another time.
No, I mean,
so I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I like the movie that he said like he found amazing. I'm like, oh,
and
cool.
Now I'll hate it. I already am going into it hating it. So
hey, you love the movie that I suggested before, and you absolutely loved it.
And Jester didn't agree on it, so now I hate it.
Oh no, I'm talking about The Harder They Fall. You liked it, didn't you?
That's true.
You loved it, didn't you?
I hate you, motherfuckers! Like I hate all you.
For somebody who hates westerns, he absolutely loved this one.
Yeah,
but it's not a western. It's not a western.
It is, but it isn't.
It's a great story.
It's a redemption story. Is
Oh yeah,
more
it's
what it is.
beautiful. It's fucking beautiful.
But
Greatest.
yeah, Mike, Wind River on Netflix. That's what it's called with Jeremy Renner.
Now I gotta watch Wind River too, because the last time Jester and he just got me. He's right. So now I gotta watch Wind River.
It's a good like crime thriller.
Yeah.
So I think you'll like it. It's not what I expected when I saw the.
And I love
the
me
picture.
some Jeremy Renner.
I love the revenge at the very end. The whole
of it. The whole scene at the end was excellent.
Yeah, I just added it to my Netflix watch list.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing. You guys you're gonna be like, not eating your popcorn if you have popcorn ready.
No, it is a rough watch. I will caution those that are listening to this right now. It's kind of rough to watch because it's real. I mean, it happens.
Yep.
It's life, unfortunately, but it's rough. It's a rough watch.
But like the way when people talk about revenge versus justice,
yeah,
right? This is justice, right?
I think so. I mean, I think so, but that's my opinion.
I think it's justice for me. So
same, yeah.
But who else is in it? Like besides Jeremy?
Oh my gosh, who's that?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Well, obviously, because you said
the chief in Dances with Wolves. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I forget his name too. But
that's really.
Yeah, he's in that.
Yeah,
he's in it.
Man.
Russell, I think his name is Russell something. Russell.
Well, I'll bring up the cast right now because let's see here.
It's set in Montana, so
yeah,
or Wyoming, I think.
Wyoming.
Montana. Is it Wyoming?
Yeah, Wyoming.
Wyoming. So
yeah, Wind River on Wyoming
is what?
It's on Netflix.
Oh shit! I know he. Oh, Joe, fucking Barenthal.
Oh, it's free on IMDb right now too.
Graham Greene.
Yo, Graham, there you go.
That's who it was. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Fuck, Julia Jones is in it. Dexter's girlfriend from the new season of Dexter. Okay, I'm in.
It's a
Gil
good watch.
Birmingham was another one that I recognized.
So it's got an 87 on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't matter, but the fucking audience score is a 90. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't give a fuck about their Rotten Tomatoes, but when the audience is that high, wow. It's on Netflix, correct? You said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
And free on IMDb, that's the other one too. So through Amazon.
Either way, I'm watching it tonight because now I'm excited.
Yeah. Again, when we talk about justice, like remember, like when we talk about Batman, the Battinson movie and all that stuff. I think for me, this version of justice is justice.
Yeah, I would agree almost.
That's how I see it.
There's the Battinson.
That's how I see it.
Real quick, I also want to mention, so since we're on the topic of Jeremy Renner, this was on the local news on Instagram. This was posted by Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue. So Jeremy Renner likes to volunteer. I think he's a honorary part of the sheriff, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a deputy, I think.
Yeah, at Truckee. So this one is from Truckee
He shot
Meadows.
the sheriff, but he didn't shoot the deputy.
Well, he didn't have a bow and arrow,
So this is from Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue. A bunch of the firefighters took a picture with Jeremy Renner, and it says here, super cool experience with Jeremy Renner and local Washoe County, Nevada first responder agencies who escorted his old rigs. So he, if I'm not mistaken, he owned like 3 old fire truck rigs to the shop where they will be restored and donated to good causes, and kicking off production of his new show, Renovation. So he's got
that's cool.
Yeah,
nice.
He always does stuff for the community. He's got a house up in Tahoe.
No, and he does a lot of the buying houses and fix them. He's into fixer uppers and shit. So
okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's his thing. So like this would be a good show for him then, because like he actually does the fucking work.
Right.
So-
Oh, yeah, that's
I mean,
nice.
yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, he's not just hosting it. Like he's
yeah.
actually getting his hands
No,
dirty.
he's actually hammering some shit down, and he's talking about like, oh, I think Marvel would look good in this, but like Marvel's too expensive right now, so let's just go with this one instead. Yeah,
That's cool.
Him and his partner,
awesome.
I forgot. Oh, and
Okay.
another fun fact, he's also a 49er fan. So
Oh, well, then I can't like him then. That sucks.
By the way, how does it feel that the king has retired, Jester?
Ooh,
Oh,
you
dude, it
happy?
feels excellent. Yeah,
Tom Brady.
I
He's
mean,
not retired.
no, he is. He's
No,
actually announced it. He
He's
actually
not
announced it.
retired.
he might go sign a contract somewhere else.
He's not retired.
So what's with his
He's-
Instagram post then?
Huh? He's retired from the Bucks.
Oh, okay.
No. What I'm saying is, I guarantee you, his ego will not allow him to do this.
So how much longer do you think he's gonna go before he comes back?
Until he gets fucking paraplegically hurt. So
2 to 3. I guarantee you, 2 to 3 years, he will announce somewhere in an even more obscure, like Green Bay or Indianapolis, maybe even his arch rivals. Fucking, but
So you think he'll
No,
pull
he's
like a
gonna
Brett
pull a
Favre or
Michael
something?
Jordan. He's gonna pull a Michael Jordan.
Okay, like he's just gonna start playing golf and he's gonna be like the next Tiger Woods. He'll just do that.
I just give it a year. I give it a year.
What I'm saying is, he's getting everybody hyped up. I give him a year to 2 years, he'll be back. And when he comes back, he's not only gonna come back and. So I'm putting it out here now, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it be one, so if we go past the 5-minute mark, or excuse me, the 5-year mark, he'll never come back. But I give it 5 years maximum. He will return. He will go to the Super Bowl. He will win, and then he will actually permanently retire.
And
His ego, him and his wife's ego cannot allow him to go out like the way they went out this year. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And it would be kind of fitting.
Prove me wrong, Brady. Prove me wrong because I know you.
It would be fitting if he actually did it with the team that he first rooted for when he was younger.
Exactly. That's why I said an obscure team, like, and not only that, that's his hero's team. Send him to San Francisco because his hero, his all-time hero,
Joe Montana.
Exactly. So
that'd be funny. You know what?
Prove me wrong, Brady. You and your ego. Prove me wrong, Brady. You have 20 seconds to comply.
Yeah, if it means for the Niners to win the championship, if Brady comes in, hey, I'll welcome him with open arms.
You'll bend over and take it nicely.
No, I will not.
The only reason why I'm saying this, the only reason why I'm saying this is because I love Jester, and I know he's celebrating. Don't get too comfortable. Brady will be back.
I'm happy just to see him and not another season. That's all I'm happy about.
Well,
I'll take one season.
You won't be happy in the next 3.
Oh, there you go.
You know what would be fucking hilarious? Is right the day after the Super Bowl, he announces like, "I'm back, bitches." He gets so envy, like,
I'm back, bitch.
Oh, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Don't. I'm not talking about Tom Brady. Don't count his ego out.
Right.
Because his ego is bigger than the NFL.
Yeah, he'll get he'll talk to people. He's like, I just got off of a phone with my hero Joe Montana, and he called me a punk bitch for quitting. So I'm not a quitter, Joe Montana. I'm gonna stay here as long.
So I'll put it to you this way. The reason why I don't believe it is because there's only one person in the world that has a bigger ego than Tom Brady. That's Jonathan.
Cena.
So there's no way. And Jonathan won't die. So what makes you think the white Tom Brady will die. Like, it's not going to happen. Tom Brady and Jonathan Cena are two of the Americans' great white hopes. Do you think that America's going to let them go? Seriously, they keep winning even when they're failures. Like, do we really think that Tom Brady is retired? He's not. I don't buy it. Tom Brady will not go out like this. Even though that he has this great legacy, he can even be considered the greatest of all time. Whether Jester likes it or not, he is the GOAT of football. You think he's gonna go out like that? I doubt. Come on. His ego will not allow it. So it's not gonna happen. He will be back. Whether it be next year or 5 years down the line, he will be back to rectify this disastrous season he had with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because people can praise it all they want. It was a disaster because he got murked in the final game. He will not allow that to happen. It's not just about Tom Brady. His witch woman of a wife, the conjurer bitch, she will not allow that to die. So even if Tom Brady himself wants to quit, his bitch of a wife will not allow it on those terms. So he will be back, ladies and gentlemen. Mark my words. Mark it on this red letter date. Post it right now. I'm telling you, the Tom Brady retirement is full. It's Fugazi. It's Fugazi. So there you go.
Last one before I forget, because this one I thought was fucking hilarious when I saw this. So of course I'm a member of the Batman Addicts Facebook group, and this post comes up.
Pattinson.
And that's why Pinhead Pattinson reminded me of this post. So everyone knows Little Caesars has the Bat Calzone promotion, and they're also giving away posters. When if you have a blacklight flashlight, when you shine that blacklight flashlight on the poster, it actually has some clues and some riddles from the Riddler himself. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, this post was from Kyle, and he tagged Little Caesars on Perkins Road. I'd like to make y'all aware of a good employee of the month candidate. Whoever worked the night shift on Monday is loyal, has integrity, and lives the Little Caesars lifestyle. I walked in the store in hopes to get one of your big new Batman movie promotion posters, like the one on the window. I asked the guy to give me an extra from the back, but he said that he couldn't do that. He told me I get the smaller promotion poster when I buy the meal deal. I said, okay, cool. I'll buy the meal deal and I'll cash app you $20 extra if I can have the big one. He refused and said he wasn't allowed. I told him $50, and all he had to do was walk to the back, and I'll take the poster off the wall and be on my way. He could also keep the meal deal I just bought. The guy stood solid and said, no.
God damn.
This man is a tank, and the company is lucky to have him and his loyalty to the people of Pizza. Well done, sir.
Bane's guarding the facility.
That is so funny, bro. That post is amazing.
I will be visiting your sister stores to see if the stance on principle is across the of Baton Rouge. Ready your troops, because that poster will be mine. But you're an admirable opponent, and I respect you.
Dude, please send that to me. Please send
it to me too, because I gotta see it.
That is amazing. So that is so funny.
This is on Facebook. I will send it on the group chat. When I read it, I was like, well, and $20. He like offered $20 for the big poster.
Yeah.
And then guy said no. And he's like $50. And you can keep the meal. You can keep the calzone. He just wanted the fucking big ass poster.
Yeah, keep the calzone because it looks like garbage. I don't know if you see the commercial yet. Jesus Christ!
And the commercial makes it look good.
They just folded the edge and made it look like a bat.
Well, it looks like a bat, right?
Yeah,
it's just stupid. The way he tells the story for me. It's the way he told it. It was so elegant, and like, you know, he's like, I'm gonna be hitting up your other stores to make sure that the quality is the same. Like, You're trying to
Some of
bribe the
those
worker,
seasons,
it's like, come on.
you are worthy adversary
Ugh.
on this day.
So funny, bro.
So there, I have the Superman Returns part of the Walmart display. I have
No.
that because the Superman's Returns Blu-ray and DVD, believe it or not, came out on my birthday in 2006. So I went to Walmart at midnight, and the guy was setting it up, and I asked him about it. He said, "Oh, here, you can have this." So I got part of that display. I'm like, "Oh, cool, thank you." And then I have a Dark Knight poster from Best Buy after the midnight release of the Blu-ray.
Oh,
They had the poster outside the doors. So as soon as I walked out and I bought my Blu-ray, I fucking yanked it. And I'm like, bye, this is mine. So, but yeah, this guy was offering $20, $50 for a fucking poster.
and the food. You get the food too.
Yeah, exactly. You keep the food. I don't care about the pizza, bro. I just want the big ass Batman poster you got in the window. $50. And this is Batman. This is what Batman fans will do.
Yeah. Yep. Thirsty fans for sure.
Shit, now I want a Batman calzone.
Yeah,
Well,
right?
Not to mention that TikTok story, Mike, you and I were talking about, the guy that just tried to get the job so he could get the hat at and then he got the hat, and the day he got the hat, he quit.
Right. So there
I
are
heard
some
you guys talking about that. I was like, really?
there are some fans. There are some fans who are going to Little Caesars, buying the pizza, and asking for a hat. Some have been successful in getting a free hat, but some of the employees are saying, no, it's for employees only.
I'm gonna, I think I might ask. I'm gonna go get a pizza this week and be like, hey, yo, can I see one of those Batman hats? I know the ones over here don't care about their job.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, but I still want to try the pizza, and the posters are cool because there's 4 different ones. I think one different poster each week, and if you shine that black light flashlight, you're seeing some Riddler stuff in there. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. That's cool.
Shit, Batman and the Snyder Cut are making their rounds because you got fucking Batman calzone and Snyderverse going into AEW wrestling.
That's right. It was on the A&W match this week. There was a fan with a sign saying "Restore the Snyderverse."
Well, yeah.
Of course, the fans will not stop. So the caption was, "When the Snyderverse invades Warner Media's TBS network to let the world know what we want. # restore the Snyderverse." So, which was awesome. So
just make good movies. At this point, I don't give a shit anymore. Just make good movies, good entertaining ones that I'll be entertained with. And
also, just to add to that, Ezra Miller posted a screenshot of an article that said Ben Affleck as Batman in The Flash will be his last. Ezra Miller took a screenshot of that and then just highlighted the last part that Ben Affleck is Batman and wrote "ha ha ha ha." So a fan asked him and DM'd him like, "What do you mean, bro? What do you mean? Why are you laughing? Well, what are you laughing at the last Ben Affleck Batman? What is that? What are you trying to say?"
They made enough money to validate restoring the Snyderverse. They should.
Right. Unless things are under wraps and they're just not officially announcing it until that merger, who knows?
Yep.
Or Ezra Miller could just be trolling. Who knows? So, but I guess that's it. Thank you guys for listening or watching. We appreciate the support. I did get something from a fan of our show.
Ooh, fan mail
on my Instagram.
Fan Instagrams, I mean, not mail.
Instagrams.
Well, it's Instagram mail because it's in the inbox, right?
We just got a letter.
So this is from. Hold on, where is
Big Daddy Little Caesars boy?
This is from Max. This is from Max Herrera. But his first name Max is Max TLA. So, but anyway, what's this? He messaged me and he said, so he was asking me about, because I haven't posted any spoilers about Mandalorian Chapter 6 on my stories. I just share the memes without spoiling anything. And then he replied and he says, Chapter 6 was beautiful. And he said, Chapter 6 was beautiful. And I said, yes. And then he asked me, have you considered doing a watch party? I'd totally be in it with the OG. So he's been following me since YouTube, the OG YouTube channel. By the way, I fucking got
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I got a comment from someone on YouTube and said, hey, Mike, I'm glad to see you're making videos. I've been watching your videos since I was in kindergarten. And now
Jesus Christ.
And I was just like,
Wow.
holy shit, dude. What?
I'm graduating high school right now.
Yeah, that blew my mind away. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Oh,
I'm a
Anyway,
17-year-old high school girl and I want to suck your dick, Mike.
no, I'm good.
boy.
I'm good. So anyway, Max, which by the way, I forgot to mention, I did a live reaction to Chapter 6, which I uploaded to my YouTube. I have the audio. I will still upload the audio. It's my first time doing it, so there's some parts where I'm just watching it and I'm just quiet. But
That's okay. That's fine.
React, yeah. So,
That's fine.
but going forward, I will definitely do this for Kenobi. All episodes, I will definitely do a live reaction for each episode as it drops. So, but I'm
And
thinking
Mike, if I may,
yeah,
I've got to put this out there because I've never promoted this on the podcast. I'll do it one time and one time only.
oh, go ahead.
I got a new podcast, Pinhead 198 on Anchor and Spotify. Check it out. You're going to enjoy it because you'll hate me or you'll love me. We're doing a new review very soon on the Week in Wrestling. So, and maybe I'll go full detail into why I loved Moonfall so much and hated it. So we'll see.
There you go.
There you go.
So check out Pinhead's podcast, Pinhead 198, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Anchor, Spotify. Those are the main places, especially Spotify. So check it out.
Awesome.
I'm better than Joe Rogan, I promise.
So yeah, Max, we were talking about, and I told him, I've been considering doing a watch party for Chapter 7. So I'm just not sure if I'm going to do it on YouTube or somewhere else. So he also says, I listen to the podcast. It's one of my favorites. And I tell him, thank you. I appreciate it. And then he says, hey, I'm a musician. If I were to record a cool little guitar opening for the podcast, would you want to use it? I don't need any credit or want money. I just want to contribute. And I said, yeah, sure. So I told him, that would be awesome. And
just
then
put guitar opening, Max Herrera. Shit.
So
Max is the shit.
So 4 hours later, he says, I finished it. And then he sends it to me. And I listened to it, and it's fucking awesome. So I'm going to ask Jester if he can work something with it for the intro.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you need.
Yeah, so I'll send it to you, and then we'll hopefully we'll be able to debut it, if not for this episode, another upcoming episode. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to share that because that was pretty cool. That that Max shared that he likes a podcast and it's one of his favorites. And I'm like, wow, yay, that's awesome. That's good to hear. So, but yeah, to anyone listening, if you want to leave a voice message or you want to DM or share the podcast because we just love to, we'd love it if you share the podcast. Tell people about it.
You can Venmo us $20 since we don't have Patreon.
Oh, I don't need no money. You guys are fine.
Hey, Venmo may not be the best way now because
Yeah.
No, fuck it, like Zelle. I'll take Zelle.
Zelle is actually a better option. Zelle is a better option.
I'll take Zelle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I never need anything from you people. If you're gonna give me something, give me like a 6 or 12 pack of beer, Blue Moon, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it'd still be nice eventually one day to be able to do an episode of the podcast together in one space. So
Dude,
I know,
yeah.
we're not gonna be talking about anything. We're just gonna be like fucking just shooting shit at each other.
Oh,
that's
pretty
the
much.
point.
Still a good
That's the
episode, man. Just chilling, hanging out.
That's the
They're gonna
point.
be like, I'm gonna be like So I finally met Jester. I still don't understand why he has that fucking mask on. Jesus Christ.
Hell, who knows? If you guys keep pushing it, we'll do our OnlyFans and we'll circle jerk each other, and Jester might lose his mask. Maybe Jester might lose his mask. Who knows?
There you go.
I'll just have the mask on. That's it. That's all.
Or we could do a calendar. We could do a calendar photo
Oh,
shoot.
yeah.
Fucking
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Filmmaker
show the
Mike.
titties
Oh
from
my
Mark.
You know
God.
what? You know what? If we made a calendar called the Filmmaker Mike and the Boys calendar, you know what? You can buy that. I'll definitely collect the money for that one. That's totally
I'm
fine.
down. That's what I got. Patents.
Oh gosh.
That's
You
funny.
never know. Or hey, we need to make some. I want a shirt. So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've been wanting to make some shirts. So who knows? I'll try to start working on that.
And if
That'd be
you,
awesome.
Hey, how about we do a filmmaker and Mike, a filmmaker Mike and the boys, fucking NFT. That shit. Since everybody's jumping into this
It's all
fucking
the rage.
bandwagon.
Oh, I'll
about
make
that?
an NFT and then everyone
Fucking-
screenshot it, and then share it. And then that's the best part. It's gonna be free
There you go. Yeah, free.
until
it's
it
free.
starts
It's
making
fucking
money.
free.
Until it starts making money, then I'll lawyer up and be like, hey.
Hey, this is the original. I've had this for like a long time,
And then
like 2 days ago.
I'm gonna be like Andrew Garfield in the Social Network and be like, I'm coming for it. You better lawyer up, asshole. I'm gonna be. Which, by the way, the Social Network, I just rewatched it, and it's a great movie. It still holds up. Like it's
Fucking David
Fantastic.
Lynch.
fantastic. With fallen, what's his name? Goodness gracious, Toe Eater,
Oh,
Army Hammer,
Hammer. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in there.
and the
The
great
twins.
Jesse Eisenberg,
Yeah.
Lex Luthor himself. Pinhead, you're muted. I can't hear you unless you purposely. Were you
What?
saying something?
the weakest fucking Lex Luthor on planet Earth.
Oh man, now I need to watch some BVS again. Alrighty.
So do I.
I love that movie. I love it. I love it.
BBS is the greatest film ever made.
The Ultimate Edition. So,
Let's go. Let's go watch it, Mike. Let's go
hey,
watch
Wind
it.
we're
River.
coming up on a year anniversary
Go
for the Snyder
Watch Wind River, goddammit.
Fuck Wind River. I'm about to watch BBS, the Ultimate Edition.
I'll
again.
watch the Wind of Justice League River.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
Better
But yeah,
than
hey, it's on my
Citizen
watch list, so I'll check it out. Hey, check out All of Us Are Dead on Netflix. The
Kane.
Korean K-drama zombie show. If you missed last week's episode, you'll know that my wife, Julie, does not like zombies or horror shit. But the K-drama, the Korean drama won her over, and it's fantastic. The story I thought was well done. And
It's not about the zombies.
it's a different take on a zombie show because they don't have guns or chainsaws. They're in a fucking high school. So what do you do when you're trapped in school and there's a zombie?
Baseball bats.
apocalypse?
Pencils and chair legs.
Baseball bats.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you guys for listening or watching. However you choose to consume this podcast, we appreciate it. We love you. We thank you. We hope you had fun, or at the very least laughed here or there. We'll find out what happens in the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, dude.
Chapter
Okay.
6 or chapter
Real
7.
quick before we bounce. I know we're leaving. I'm so sorry. My cameo prediction for the Book of Boba next episode is indeed Boba Fett. I think he'll show up maybe for a few seconds, but you know what? I guarantee you he'll be in it. All right, I'm out. Bye.
If they kill Boba Fett, Fennec Shan should take up the mantle.
Oh, if they kill Boba Fett, I'm gonna be pissed. I'll be a little pissed. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Well, they can find another clone, but he'll be
I mean, they-
older. And then
I mean, it'll be another episode of him in the fucking bubble bath if he gets shot. So I mean, oh, take me to the back to tank.
I hope this time he gets thrown back in the Sarlacc pit and dies this time.
Okay.
Holy shit!
All right.
Oh,
Uh,
boy.
Hey, Hey, Cad Bane is gonna kill the fucking Sarlacc. How about that? That's my
No,
prediction.
Cat Bane is gonna shoot him in the
How about that?
kneecaps, both of his kneecaps, pick him up and chuck him in the fucking Sarlacc pit. How about that?
Yeah. So Cad Bane is gonna shoot the fucking Sarlacc, or not Sarlacc. What's the name of that fucking the one underneath the pit or in the pit?
Rancor.
Chrome Dome.
Yeah. Okay. So Cad Bane's gonna kill the little Rancor, and he's gonna shoot Grogu, and then he's gonna get tag teamed like a motherfucker.
I fucking want to see. I want to see Danny Trejo get into some action too. He better bring out like a vibro blade that looks like a machete.
It's like a machete.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for listening. See y'all again next week or whenever the next episode is. See y'all.
Bye bye.
May the force be with you.